Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the Agostinho Zinga Show. This is episode number 1001. This is episode number 1001 of the Agostinho Zinga Show, coming at you live and direct from an undisclosed location somewhere in the depths of East London. How you doing? How you feeling? How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing, good to know, good to know, good to know. How am I? Absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. Mostly due to Manchester United winning and looking sprightly again. Mostly due to, the Epstein files leaking and seeing the world implode. Mostly due to the Grammys and the celebrations behind that and other bits and bobs, but optimistic as well. Mostly because of the football. Who would have known? Who would have funked it that the football would be the main reason why my outlook is quite bright, why my outlook on the world is quite bright, mostly based on the football. So thank God for Manchester United. Thank God for Manchester United. But apart from that, hope you've been well wherever you may be. I know I've been radio silent for a few days. Apologies for the delay in getting back to you and recording a show. Because of that, what I'm going to do, because I've been away for a few days, what I'm going to do this particular episode, I usually put all my video episodes behind a paywall. I usually put all the video episodes of TAZS and the random show behind a paywall, but because I've been away for a long time, today's episode and the random show is coming after you straight after will be free to view for everybody. Everybody can chat, everybody can get involved. They'll be free to view for absolutely everybody. So please enjoy, sit back, and whatever else it may be, you can enjoy it. And of course, as always, if you're watching this show live, along the way, make sure you like the stream. That'd be greatly appreciated. Share it, all that malarkey. Subscribe to your channel. Become a member if you want to as well. Become a member if you can as well. That'd be greatly appreciated if you can become a member. I'm trying to get those memberships up on this channel, so make sure you do that heading into the new. Well, we're already into a new month. We're like 6 days into a new month, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Cool. Shaby. Let's just get straight into it. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I know I've not been around for a while, so let's just get straight into it, mother foes. Let's get straight into it. First things first, we need to talk about. We must, and we have to talk about is Wonder Man. Has anybody watched Wonder Man? Please, for the love of God, has anybody watched Wonder Man? What an incredible series. What an incredible series. I had my doubts. Firstly, because of the casting. If you know anything about Wonder Man, you'd know that the actual character in the comics isn't black. The character in the comics is a white dude, and if I'm not mistaken, the character in the comics is the son of a very famous inventor or like weapons manufacturer. I think that's the origin, if I'm not mistaken. I think the original comic book Marvel character of Wonder Man is a son of a weapons manufacturer that goes through this procedure to get powers, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's sort of like another version of Iron Man, but instead of having an iron suit, he's just really strong, and he uses like kinetic power and all that sort of stuff. So basically, think of Iron Man, but instead of having a suit, he's got all the abilities inside of him, type of thing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the whole story behind it is that he's trying to get from underneath his dad's shadow. So they kind of changed it. They changed the whole premise around it. They changed the race of the person. Instead of being white, the guy's black. And his backstory, instead of him being the son of a failed, or like of a weapons, again, please forgive me, my lore when it comes to Marvel isn't the greatest, so please forgive me, all of you MCU fans out there, but I'm pretty sure he's the son of a weapons manufacturer, something along those lines, and he's trying to get out of the shadow of his dad. But in this particular series, the guy's black, and he's a failed or struggling actor. He's like a starving artist, but it's done so fucking well. I guarantee you. I know it looks woke. I know it looks a bit woke with the black actor being in the lead. I get it, but please, I implore you, give it a chance. If you don't trust me, a lot of things, I know some of you guys, I've given you guys some recommendations over the years, and you've reminded me that recommendations have been pretty shit. I know I don't have the greatest record of recommendations with some of you, but if you can re-earn my trust, I recommend you check out Wonder Man. It is absolutely amazing TV. It's so fucking good. So fucking good. The premise behind it, again, him being a struggling artist, struggling actor, trying to make his way in. I like the idea behind it. I like the idea behind it kind of essentially being he's a struggling artist or actor, but not because he's not good actor, but because he's a bit of a pain in the ass. Just to kind of give you a bit of a spoiler. He's a pain in the ass in that every time he goes to an audition, instead of just reading his lines, he kind of adds notes to the lines, which is kind of ballsy, by the way, right? So when you go into audition, he doesn't just read what's on the paper, he adds notes. He's like, oh yeah, about this character, why would that character say this? Why would the character say that? And because of all the notes he adds, which are pretty good in general, he thinks it makes him look enthusiastic, but it actually makes him look like he doesn't know his place. I think that's probably a lesson to be learned in that for a lot of us out there, right? Who kind of maybe go into job interviews or start jobs and we're a little bit too excited to let everybody know that we know what we're talking about. I think sometimes, I forgot who said it. Who said it? I think it might have been Jordan Peterson. It might have been Jordan Peterson. Well, before Jordan Peterson went crazy, I think he shared a story. Yeah, before Jordan Peterson went crazy, I think he shared a story about working on a job site somewhere, like a being a fucking, being a laborer. And I think he shared one of the wisdoms of being a laborer working in that kind of environment is that you kind of get to understand where you are in the social male hierarchy pecking order. You get to understand and develop an ability to be able to kind of insult each other in a loving way, to kind of show affection and shit. And I think the other lesson he also learned on the job site, which I think he mentions like an anecdote, is that when you work on a job site, you kind of have to go at the pace of everybody else around you. You don't show everybody up. So when you get there and you're new, when you're naive, you get there and you try and work super hard because you think that's going to make you look good, but it actually makes your colleagues look bad. And obviously, if anybody you guys know, when it comes to construction and shit, there is this untold thing where you just take your time. You don't really do jobs to rush. You just take your time and everything kind of goes by the wisdom of everybody else. So I think with this particular series, what this guy is doing in terms of giving the production company or the TV series he's in, auditioning for notes, is that he's kind of fucking himself over, even though he's a really good actor. But they do a really good job of giving you an insight into his family dynamic. And I think it does a really good job in general. Just to kind of, again, I don't want to give too many spoilers. I want you to go into watching this fresh. You have a really interesting dynamic, which I really love about the story. It's kind of similar to like Andor. You remember Andor? I'm sure some of you guys have watched it, right? That Andor series. Wonder Man does a good job because it's not overly super powery. If you get about it, there's not. You know what I mean? It's a good, compelling, gripping story that doesn't overly rely on you seeing this guy, I don't know, throw people into outer space. Fly at fucking Mach 7 speed. Laser people with his eyes. It doesn't rely on that. It relies mostly on the story, the character development, how invested you are in these characters, the story that they tell, and it's really done well. Really fucking done well. I really implore you, I beg you, if you don't listen to any of my fucking recommendations, please check out Wonder Man. I know it's not, it's not like for like comic book. As you can see here, the comic book character Wonder Man is a white guy with black hair, and the character in the TV series is a black dude. But the black dude as well, let me give you his props. What's his name? The main actor, Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Oh my god, he absolutely kills it. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't he the same guy? Isn't he the same guy from? Yeah, he's the same guy from Watchmen. That makes sense. Then that makes sense. He's the same guy from Watchmen. He killed it in Watchmen too. To be fair, he absolutely killed it. I'm sure some of you watched him in Watchmen. He absolutely killed it in the Watchmen as well. So I'm not surprised he did so well. Like, he plays comic book characters really fucking well, but he absolutely killed it. So big up Yahya Abdul Mateen. He absolutely fucking killed it. But I recommend you check out fucking Wonder Man. It's an incredible series. I really did fucking enjoy it. I went through it in basically a day, if I'm not mistaken. But it was absolutely fantastic. Really fucking good series. Really, really fucking good series. And actually, yeah, they looking back as well, they got the glasses right too, innit? Yeah, they actually got the shades right as well. They got the original shades that he wears in the comic book in real life as well, right as well. So big up Yahya Abdul Mateen. Wonder Man is absolutely fantastic. I recommend you check it out. And if you're a struggling or starving artist yourself, you will definitely identify with a lot of aspects of the show. You definitely identify with a lot of aspects of the show. You identify with it because it does really tell a very compelling and gripping story. Let me actually read the article courtesy of The Guardian. The Guardian reviewed it. Actually, they say Wonder Man review, a Marvel TV show with almost no superhero action, and it's all the better for it. It's like what I said. So it's similar to Andor. Andor didn't have a lot of, Andor did have some fight scenes and some, like, alien stuff and whatever, spaceship fights, but for the most part Andor was a great series because the writing was amazing, the actors were amazing, the story was amazing, like it took you on a journey. So I think Andor was the same. So if you like Andor, you'll like Wonder Man. Please go into it with an open heart, go into it with an open mind. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. Let's read this article courtesy of The Guardian. They reviewed it and they gave it 4 out of 5 stars in The Guardian. 4 out of 5 stars, which is really good, I think. We're back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you feel fatigue, if you feel fatigue stealing over you already, banish it. It's going to be okay. Even though Wonder Man is, by my incredulous reckoning, about the 30th MCU series produced by Marvel Television Companions, from a dizzying heights of WandaVision to, well, She-Hulk, is a little gem. And it's quite little. In MCU terms, not only are the 8 episodes only around half an hour long, but it also eschews spectacle in the storytelling. It's a radical idea, but you never know, it might catch on. Yeah, it's true, actually. Good point. The episodes are not that long. The episodes are like an hour or 2 hours long. They're pretty, small in terms of episode length, but they do pack a lot into it. So if you're worried that it's going to take up a lot of your weekend, then please give it a go, because they're not that long, the episodes. The story is that Simon Williams, the actor Yahya Abdul-Mateen II plays, who plays DC Comics character Black Manta in Aquaman films, is an actor who's been trying to make it in LA for the last decade. Alas, his inability to stop overthinking a role makes him an utter pain on the set and gets him fired even when he does manage to land the spot. Yeah, that's a tragic part about the story. It's like, he's clearly a great actor. You can see it even when he's like fucking around in the series. He's clearly got talent, he's clearly got ability, but he kind of gets in his own way. And I think it's something that a lot of people who work in the creative field trying to make it themselves can kind of identify, that idea of like, you've got the ability, you know what you're meant to do, but you just keep getting in your own way by overthinking things, making things more complex than what they need to be, and just generally not knowing how to read a room. And I think that's the tragic part of the story, especially when you kind of compare it with, the things going on around him, other people, what they're doing, But again, I don't want to give too much away because I'm already spoiling it for those of you that are going to watch it. Alas, his inability to stop overthinking a role makes him an utter pain on the set and gets him fired even when he does manage to land the role, but he's loved the Wonder Man character all his life, and when the chance comes to audition for the role in a superhero film about him, Simon leaps at it. There he is, befriended by Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley, who plays Trevor in various MCU films, a washed-up, drug-addled actor who's hired by Iron Man 3 baddie to play the Mandarin, who is the terrorist leader of the Ten Rings. Do keep up. Always beware befriending an actor. Trevor is a cast poor of the Department of Damage Control, the shadowy government organization set on protecting the public from supernatural threats, with a modern prison to fill before its budget is cut. The DODC, has been tracking our man Simon since he was 13, emerged unscathed from a house fire that should have killed him. It is not, we gather, just for love for the shonky Wonder Man films he watched as a child with his father that draws him to the role. Ignorant of the DODC existence, Simon still keeps his powers hidden because in his Hollywood, people with such abilities are forbidden to work after an on-set disaster that is subject to an entire episode. Beautifully done, even if it interrupts the momentum about halfway through this. Yeah, that episode is fucking brilliant. Doorman. There's like a one-off episode called Doorman that kind of picks up on this that you'll watch as well. That's fucking fantastic. Again, I'm not going to give it in a natural way, but that is also brilliant for those of you that are going to watch it. The real meat of the thing, however, and also the styling too, is brilliant too. Whoever did the styling, the wardrobe for this series, killed it. Like the outfits that he gives the main guy Simon is fucking great. Honestly, he does such a good job. Whoever did the wardrobe and the styling for Wonder Man, he fucking killed it. I think every outfit that he wore, I loved. With the white jeans, the denim jackets pulled up pretty high, with the Converses. I think the denim jacket was a 101. He did the jeans fit him perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, just really, really well done. I enjoyed that. The real meat of the thing, however, is not the superheroics, repressed or otherwise. It lies into two things. First, the meticulous and moving examination of the growing friendship between the men. Trevor's pose as a mentor becomes increasingly real, as with the shades of the Oliver's advice to the very method of actor Dustin Hoffman, who exhausted himself on during the making of The Marathon Man, and no coward, advice to all actors: speak up and don't bump into the furniture. He teaches the less experienced man to get out of his own way and improve his career by extension in his life. Second, we get the meditation on the film industry and a masterclass of several really on the art of acting. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, they do really well, to be fair. This is one of those series that kind of reminds you just how much of a talent it is to act, you know, an actual ability, because the way the actors act and the way the actors depict what acting is in the show as well, it's fucking great. They all do a fucking great job. Some of the little scenes they have to kind of film, you know, when they're in audition, it's so fucking well done. It's the kind of thing that if you're not interested in acting, it'll kind of make you think maybe I should take some acting classes, you know. It's the kind of series, honestly, I swear to God, where it would legitimately make you interested in taking some acting lessons. No, this is not a sentence I thought I'd be writing about the dusty piece of an MCU intellectual property either, but what joy is it doing so? We follow Simon as he puts together an audition tapes, talks about character choices, finds different spins, stories and annotations, and watch as he, Abdul Mateen, puts them together. And we have Trevor/Kingsley advising him on alternative techniques, discussing his options, showing us that having a supportive line reader off camera can do and demonstrate the difference between an immersion of the stage as well as the screen can make. At one point, the actor's characters simply sit and trade some of the favorite speeches from Shakespeare to Amadeus Salieri, and the boundaries between them, between the actor characters and the actors and us begin to blur. It's as neat as a demonstration of art as it's a powers as you could find. So I definitely recommend you check that out. For those who want more of the superhero stuff, Wonder Man will disappoint. There are moments when we see Simon's rumbling powers build and occasion scenes when they are unleashed, but the strength of this show lies in its depiction of the relationship between the leads and interrogation of the effects of art and how it's corrupted. Forgive me, but it's a rather clever, tender and altogether wonderful thing. Yeah, like I love that little spin there. Honestly, it really is done well. Like, it's less about the powers and more so about the character, more so about superheroes play like in modern. It's basically based on modern times. So imagine how it would be if people did actually have superpowers nowadays, how they would be looked at, how they would be judged, how they'd be discriminated against. It's done fucking well. It's done really fucking well. I really enjoyed it and I recommend everybody check it out. Wonder Man. It's available, I think, on Disney TV, right? On Disney Plus TV, but you know how we do it. You know how we get our TV series. We don't go to Disney Plus, but big up those of you that do. Big up those of you that do. Moving on. I didn't talk about it, but I want to talk about it now. I know it's past and it's been some time now, but Manchester United 3, Fulham 2. Manchester United 3, Fulham 2. What a joy it is to watch my team play football nowadays. Not because of the wins. I'm not one of those type of guys that thinks we deserve to win every single game. We deserve to win every single trophy. We deserve to win a league every season. I'm one of the type of people, one of the type of fans, because we've had so many years of hurt, so many years of disappointment. I just want to see my team try. I just want to see my team try. I want to see my players look like. I want to see the players that play for my club look like they're enjoying playing for the club. I want to hear and feel the stadium rocking, and I want to just see an entertaining game of football. And we are getting this under the stewardship of Michael Carrick. One thing he's done, I'm not too sure how he's managed it, but one thing he's done is that he's made these players look like a decent team. Still individually not the greatest. I think once one or two players get injured, we're kind of struggling, right? Big up Dorgo, hope he recovers very soon. We're not the blessed with the most stacked in terms of options in the squad, but he's made us look like a decent team because everybody's fighting for each other. Everybody is fighting for each other. Everyone's fighting for the badge and no one's hiding. And I think a lot of that probably goes down to the fact that he's finally playing the players in the right positions. That's something that a lot of people don't really talk about too much when Amram was in charge. For some reason, maybe it was because of the system, maybe it's because of the players that we had. I don't know who's at fault. Maybe it's the fault of Amram because of the system. Maybe it's because of the fault of the club because we didn't have players that were maybe adaptable. But I felt like whenever we watched Ruben Amorim put our team out, the players, with the exception of maybe Lamins, everyone was playing the wrong position. You had Bruno playing in midfield. You had Casemiro playing way too deep. You had Dalot playing as a right wing back when he's better as a right back. You had Shaw playing as a left centre back when he's better as a left back. You had all these players playing all out of positions. You had Diallo playing as a left wing back. But I think the best thing that Carrick has done so far is that he's put the players in their quote unquote best positions. The biggest example of that is Bruno Fernandes. I've been on Bruno Fernandes's neck. I've been on Bruno Fernandes's neck for the majority of the season, mostly because I feel like our fans aren't, you know, they don't have the ability to be objective when it comes to Bruno Fernandes. There's no ability to like judge him as just a player because everyone remembers what stuff he did for us in the past. They can't criticize him ever. He's your best player. He can't make no mistakes. So that kind of annoys me. But the reason why I don't kind of rate him sometimes is because in midfield, I feel like he's fairly useless in midfield. He doesn't hold his position. He goes wandering. He's not the best in terms of ball retention. His ability to dribble isn't the greatest. He can't really cut through the lines that well. So in midfield, in like a traditional centre midfield role, I think Bruno Fernandes is hopeless. In the same way McTominay was hopeless, right? Misprofiled players. But if you play Bruno Fernandes further up front the pitch and you let him do what he does best, which is impact the game, which is affect the game in an attacking way, guess what happens? It transforms the way we play. And the real masterstroke that Carrick has done was playing Bruno Fernandes as a 10 / a number 9, basically playing behind fucking Mbeumo or whoever's playing up front. And it has been an absolute masterstroke because now we look like a completely different unit. Now we have a midfield consisting of Casemiro and Maino who are holding that central position down. Then we have players like Diallo playing in on the right hand side who can drift in the middle. Then we have players maybe like Dogu who can do the same thing, holding the width from the left. But then we have Bruno Fernandes in the middle who's able to affect the game through the middle and play. I think the last 3 games that we played with Bruno Fernandes in that position since Carrick has taken over have probably been, in my personal opinion, have been the best games, the best performances I've seen from that player. I don't think I've ever seen Bruno play better than he's playing now. He's playing fun, like he looks absolutely electric. He looks electric on that pitch because he knows his only job is to keep the ball further up the pitch and to give assist, to give the balls to the players who are most dangerous. And you can see definitely for now, maybe I'm looking at things differently, but I get the feeling like Bruno's taken a bit of a, maybe because of his age, I don't know, but you can tell he's enjoying the role of like putting players on. He's not only trying to go for goal himself, he's obviously bummed out when he doesn't score, but you can tell he's getting so much joy out of like allowing the players around him to kind of support and win, because before it was only him. He was the only player that was pulling us out of trouble, hitting fucking amazing shots from 30 yards out, free kicks, all this stuff, right? Coming in clutch. But now I think he's resting now because he knows we've got some decent players in attack who can on their day change games, and he's doing so. So credit to Carrick for getting the players in the right position, and the most important one for me going forward has been the fact that Bruno Fernandes is playing further up front. In this particular game, I think the quality of the game wasn't the greatest. Let me just go say that. It wasn't the greatest quality of game overall. In terms of entertainment, back and forth, it was brilliant. I think we probably gave Fulham an opportunity to get back into the game, which they didn't have to. I think we could have killed the game off after the second goal and kind of really went for the third goal. But we did what we usually do sometimes. When we start going ahead, we start to take our foot off the pedal. We've made some substitutions that are probably a little bit, maybe premature at the time of speaking. And then Fulham got back into the game with a penalty. And then by that time, we felt a bit shaky. And then, Fulham scored an amazing goal. Like that goal from fucking Kevin. Oof. That goal from fucking Kevin. Was fucking brilliant. What an amazing goal. Typical, Brazilian playing on the left-hand side type of goal, to be honest. I think I've seen plenty of players in the Premier League that are Brazilian origin scoring the type of goals over the years. So, brilliant goal. And for once as well, it felt like the type of goal that, although I feel like Lemons, I'm still a little bit, I love Sene Lemons. I feel like he's brought a lot of calm to that defense. He's a great goalkeeper, clearly. A clear upgrade to Onana. And he's clearly going to be a great goalkeeper going forward. But I still got a little reservation over Lemons' inability to stop shots with the tips of his fingertips. That's just me. I feel like whenever shots are like aimed towards the top corners, like I think with Lemons, I don't know how tall he is, but let me just say off the top of my head, Lemons looks like he might be like 6'2", 6'3". He's got a really long wingspan. I think he should get closer to his shots. I feel like David De Gea in the past would have always got his finger. Don't get me wrong. I remember David De Gea has like abnormally long fingers, paws, right? If I'm not mistaken, David De Gea is known for having abnormally very long fingers. But I feel as if like Lemons doesn't get his fingertips on the ball too often to like push the ball out wide. If you aim the shots really in the top corner, it kind of beats him. But to be fair, that Kevin goal, not only did it get aimed towards the top corner, it also kind of dipped. It also kind of went up and down. So I don't blame him too much for it. But I think he played fairly decently. What I did really like was the attitude after the equaliser, because I thought the equaliser kind of doomed us to lose the game. I'm not gonna lie. The momentum was on Fulham. They made some pretty decent substitutions. They had about 9 minutes of extra time, I think, was added to the game, if I'm not mistaken. And I generally thought, oh shit, Kevin scored a goal. It's 2-2 now. We don't look like we're going to be scoring. But then the attitude from the players, the lack of putting your heads down and feeling glum was incredible to watch. And oh my God, big up Benjamin Sesko. I've not been the biggest fan of him since he's arrived. I'm on the fence about him as a player. I think we made a big mistake in letting go of Højlund. I think if we would have kept Højlund and Sesko, I think we would have seen better levels from both, because they both would have been competing for the same spot and would have pushed each other, right? They would have been pushed each other. They're in a similar sort of age range. I think it would have been better to do that instead of having one player feel like, oh, I'm the main striker now. But regardless, that didn't happen. Højlund's gone now. He's not coming back. So let's move on. But Sesko hasn't been the greatest. He hasn't hit the ground running. But one thing you can't fault him for is his application. I know it doesn't mean too much, but I think his lack of having his head down and feeling bad for himself has been his real difference maker so far. And when he came on, he probably should have scored that first header when he came onto the pitch straight away. He had a header when he kind of headed it down, hit the post. But I felt like because he came on with that sort of attitude, and I don't know, again, what you have to give Carrick credit. I don't know what Carrick is doing with these players, but Carrick is he's reproducing what happened when Alex Ferguson was at the club. When Safa was manager of the club, we had a lot of great players. Not everybody could play because there's only 11 positions and places to play in the first team. But what you always felt like whenever a sub happened, the sub never came on with like a bad attitude. Even if they were upset and not playing, they put all their frustration into the performance, which helped the team, which then helped us to win. You know, that's what always happened. I don't know how Alex Ferguson did it, but that was his really great ability at making the players on the bench even feel like they're part of the matchday squad. And obviously, when they were required or when they were needed, their help was needed, they came on. They were willing to kind of put their best foot forward. Because sometimes if you're players on the bench and they hate the manager and the club's going through a bad time, they can come on and be a little bit moody and not really try. But when the players come on now, they feel like they're really trying to make an impression so they can play the next game or just in general help the team. And Sesko came on with that, you know, with the bit between his teeth. So I'm not gonna lie. When that second chance came, when Bruno got the ball, I knew he was gonna score. I had a feeling because he already looked really confident after, even though he missed the header and it kind of hit the post and didn't go in. The fact that he was in that position and he got so close, for me, gave him the motivation. Okay, cool, I'm gonna score this goal. And oh my God, for someone that's been playing up and down, who hasn't hit the ground running, who's maybe still struggling to adapt to the league, what an incredible goal, bro. He didn't look up once. He did not look up once. He controlled the ball, spun around, bang, top corner, and then we got the classic kind of, Sesko celebration where he jumps up into the air and punches it. Like, oh my God, you cannot tell me that was not one of the greatest moments so far in the league season. And the other bit that I really like too, again, going back to how well of a job that Carrick is doing, the reaction from the players. The reaction from the players on the bench, especially fucking Joshua Zirkzee, who himself hasn't been playing too much. There's been rumors and links about him going to other teams on loan. I don't want that. I hope he stays. He was more excited than Sesko. Joshua Zirkzee was more hyped than fucking Sesko for that goal. He was fucking on fire. He was shaking in punch. Like, oh, it's so good to see the atmosphere and the attitude around the players. They all look like they're really happy to be there. Kobbie Mainoo, man. What can we say about Kobbie Mainoo? What can we say about Kobbie Mainoo? Like, that's why I think football and in life in general is kind of confusing, because one person's pauper, one person's enemy, one person's disregard, whatever it is, can be another person's kind of, crown jewel. I still have no idea. Maybe I do have an idea. Maybe if you're playing that 3-4, whatever, that 3-2, 3-2-1, whatever formation that he was playing before Amarin. Maybe if you're playing a midfield where the midfielders are quite isolated from their attacking players, maybe a Kobbie Mainoo player isn't the greatest because you're worried that he doesn't have the athleticism to kind of cover the spaces. But I still don't think that's true. You're seeing him literally, I think in the last 3 games, he might have been the player that's covered the most distance of any United outfield player. I think so. I think he's come off with 10 minutes, I think, with the last 2 games. So he's come off a sub as well. So I'm not too sure what Amarin didn't see in Kobbie Mainoo, but I'm glad he's still here. I'm not usually the biggest fan of picking players over managers in general, but I think the club did a good job in terms of not letting Amarin force Kobbie Mainoo out, because that kid is fucking special. But big up Sesko, an incredible winning goal, incredible performance from us, onwards and upwards. I'm loving to see how we're going, and who knows, maybe we've only got 2 more matches left, isn't it? We might actually be heading into the period of time where that guy that's growing his hair because we haven't won 5 games in a row, he might actually get to cut his hair this season. he might actually get to cut his head this year. Sorry, he might actually get to cut his head this year. You never fucking know. We might actually be closer than you think to winning 5 games in a row, which would be fucking incredible in general, because of how poor we've been the majority of this season. But it's been so refreshing, so nice to see. And again, another reminder as to how big of a club United is, isn't it? It's another reminder as to how big of a club United is, and the fact that we are now looking somewhat halfway decent, and the coverage of us over the media, the coverage of United across all social media platforms, channels, like we're literally the number 1 ticket. No one can deny that United, although we're fucking terrible, we're definitely the biggest club in the world. Probably next to the only club probably that comes close in terms of worldwide coverage has to be Real Madrid. But it's incredible to see everybody, like, even the league is excited. Even the league feels more exciting that we're playing well. No one wants to see us. I know some of our rivals probably enjoy it, but I think a Man United that's playing well, Man United that's winning games, it's good for the Premier League. It's good for the league in general. It's good for the country. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody. Honestly, I'm fucking enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. Big up United. Big up Blood Club United. You gotta love it. You have to freaking love it. You have to freaking love it. Okie dokie. Next on the list. Next on the list. Next on the list. Let's talk a little bit about fucking 21 Savage. 21 Savage is doing a fucking madness. 21 Savage is doing a madness. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard this story. This is courtesy of Digital Music News. It says Spotify has allegedly removed 25 million streams from 21 Savage's latest album. 21 million streams have been removed from 21 Savage's album that just dropped recently, called What Happened to the Streets. Now, I'm not surprised about this, because as much as I love 21 Savage, that album came and went. You know, the album came and fucking went. I'm not too sure if this is more to say that we've had 21 Savage fatigue. Maybe he needs to reinvent his sound. Maybe it's just like a malaise of the music industry in general. But this album came and went for me. I listened to it once when it came out. I think I played it throughout when it came out. I think maybe in the gym one time, but then I haven't revisited it since. So I think this is maybe an example as to how much he's fallen off as an artist. But if ever there was a doubt with you guys out there about buying streams, about faking it till you make it, this is a good example of it. There's established artists out there who are buying 25 million streams illegally, right? Fake, fucking artificially inflate their streaming numbers. And there are people out there who are worried about buying 10,000, 1,000, 100,000, and there's niggas out here buying 25 million fake streams. So the game is kind of rigged, unfortunately. The reason why I'd imagine some people are doing this type of thing is probably for budgets, I'd assume. If you're a recording artist, less so about the optics around it. I think it's to do with budgets. And no, don't get me wrong, I think optics play a role too. You want to have an album that's number 1 in the when the album drops. You want to have your album be number 1 album of the week, right? With all the genres and all the albums dropping in that particular weekend, you want your album to be number 1. That's a bit of kudos. You also want that number 1 title so that it can increase your budget. I'd assume you probably want that too. Maybe to increase your ability to negotiate, give you more leverage when it comes to renegotiating your contract, and just generally, let's just call a spade a spade. It's just more so a optics thing, isn't it? That's mostly what it's about. It's all about optics. You want to appear like you're a big deal. You want to appear like you're important. Blah 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 blah. So that's why people are doing this type of thing. But it's just wild because the knock-on effect on stuff like this is that it gives independent artists, it gives underground artists. You have no real, I won't say you have no chance, but it makes it harder for you to be seen, you know? It makes it really hard for you to be seen, which is probably why it's really important now. I'd say if I was advising an artist coming up or managing somebody, I think what you would do, instead of trying to fake the streams, what you would do is that you'd probably increase the real life events as a sort of a antidote, as an answer, as a remedy to this situation of everybody faking their streams and botting streams. What I would do if I was managing artists, I would concentrate a lot more on live shows and documenting those. So obviously you concentrate on your fucking digital stuff and, you know, putting stuff on streaming platforms, blah 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 blah. But you do a lot of live things, whether it's, you know, doing stuff in the streets with DJ AG, whether it's putting on small pop-up events somewhere in parks, whether it's doing live shows or recording them. But you would make sure that you make the live element an important part of what you do to show the crowd as it grows, you know, from the beginning of no one being there, growing to big rooms, selling out different places, showing the ability of the artist to perform in front of a live audience. That also gives it a bit of a different kind of a vibe, and kind of going from there, building up, and then hoping over time that translates to the streams, and it gives you an insane number of streams. So then if you do decide at one point to maybe add a little bit of a sprinkle of fake streams, it makes your numbers look fucking crazy, you know, because the majority of your numbers are based on legit stuff. But it is kind of wild to see established artists like fucking 21 Savage buying 25 million streams. It's fucking wild. Let's read this article though. Spotify reportedly removes 25 million streams from songs of 21 Savage, raising questions about an ongoing bot activity and the integrity of streaming. The conversation around streaming integrity and rampant botting intensified this week as reports surfaced of Spotify allegedly removing 25 million streams from 21 Savage's latest album, What Happened to the Streets. Spotify has yet to acknowledge the adjustment, but the change comes amid speculation that bots may have been used to inflate the numbers tied to the album. Wow. It's notable that no formal accusation has been made on either side, but the sudden drop in streams appeared on Sunday and immediately sparked speculation around social media. Every song on the album, which dropped in December, has been affected. That's wild, bro. Upon its release, What Happened to the Streets debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and had 73,000 all album equivalent units in the first week. The album appeared in the impressive list of collaborators including Latto, Drake, Glorilla, Metro Boomin, Young Nudie, Lil Baby, and Joanne Harris. The album was already a center of a cultural debate even before speculation of its streams. 21 Savage weighed in on the amount of tension between Gunna and Young Thug shortly after the record released and posted the Fuck the Streets on the former Twitter. But several artists, including NBA Youngboy, 6ix9ine, 504, publicly denounced the statement as dismissive of street culture rather than simple remark of the perceived loyalty. That escalated the debate into a broad conversation around the role of street narratives in hip-hop. Meanwhile, it remains to be seen what Spotify and 21 Savage Camp will say, if anything, about the adjustment. Regardless, if fans flames of speculation surrounding the rampant use of botting and streaming spaces and the authenticity of streaming as a metric. Again, I think this is a sad day in music because I really rate 21 Savage as an artist. I think he's incredibly talented. But I do think that goes to show you just how, I would say, overall lazy artists have been over the years. I think artists nowadays have been maybe, I wouldn't say maybe, but have been very lazy in terms of their artistry. And I think they're starting to pay the price for it a little bit. I think they're starting to pay the price for it slightly with how lazy they've been over the years with their artistry. I think fans want more from artists nowadays, and maybe an artist like 21 Savage is finally starting to pay the price for it a little bit. And instead of going back to the drawing board and trying to change what you do, give your fans something different to listen to, and maybe just try and challenge yourself that way, all they do is buy the streams, you know? That's something that kind of annoys me a little bit when it comes to these artists. Instead of trying something new and trying to go for something different, I'm just going to buy streams to fake it, to make it look like I'm still a big deal. When really what you should be doing, I think, as an artist, when this sort of stuff happens and you're realizing that there's been a bit of a dip, there's been a bit of a dip in the kind of stuff that you've been putting out, and maybe people aren't buying it the same way they were before, you should maybe going back to the drawing board and trying to change your sound slightly, trying to change your approach slightly, and trying to give your fans something new and exciting to be excited for, as opposed to just buying streams to make it look like you're still a big deal. Well, you know, but it is what it is. The other part of it that's been really concerning, and obviously this is confirmation. Oh no, what happened there? I'll show you confirmation of what the bots happened. This is courtesy of an account called Love Is Back. What Happened to the Streets by 21 Savage. 25 million bots removed as of February the 1st, following Spotify's removal of the streams. As you can see here, minus 25 million is fucking crazy. And you see that all the streams which have been affected. But the other part that's been really sad about this has been this response from fucking Akademiks. Big up Akademiks. You guys know how much of a fan I am of DJ Akademiks. I watch a lot of his streams over the years. But the really sad thing about Akademiks and his reaction to this story is that he's, as much as I like Akademiks, as much as I love Akademiks streams, he has been one of the reasons why I think music overall has like lacked in quality over the years, especially hip hop music, because of this kind of focus on numbers. Akademiks was the kind of person who was the one who popularized the whole idea of like concentrating on first week number sales and shit, right? Making sure like kind of like, you know, being a little bit snarky and a little bit condescending when an artist he didn't like didn't maybe sell over a certain amount of albums, or when the artist he did like did, you know what I mean? That kind of, that whole competing of first week album sales, I think led to a lot of artists kind of flooding their albums full of tracks that are shit, for for the sake of just runtime, collabs that didn't make sense, and just generally a lack of quality music, right? And obviously that kind of weird stuff people do too, where they kind of include hit songs from previous years onto new albums to inflate the numbers. Just generally been a negative. I think it's been a net negative in music industry, that focus on first week album sales. But cool, he's the first week album sales guy, he's the metrics guy, he's the pocket watcher guy. That's his kind of MO, right? So what I didn't like about Akademiks' response to 21 Savage botting 21 million streams and getting those removed was that if this was confirmed to have happened to an artist that he didn't like if this happened to a Little Baby, if this would have happened to a fucking Kendrick, right? If this would have happened to, I don't know who else I can mention on top of my head who doesn't like, a Meek Mill, he would have been talking about this ad nauseum. He would have went into exhaustive detail. But because 21 Savage and Akademiks are cool, they're kind of friendly. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Akademiks became friendly with 21 Savage's manager, who used to go on podcasts a lot. I think he did a couple of interviews on Joe Budden back in the day. He's very kind of intelligent, sort of like well-spoken dude. I think Akademiks and 21 Savage's manager have a good relationship, which then led Akademiks and 21 Savage having a good relationship. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, 21 Savage played a role in terms of squashing the beef between Akademiks and Meek Mill, if I'm not mistaken. So, but they kind of, they're industry friends. So because they're industry friends, Akademiks started to make all the excuses under the sun for 21 Savage, which is kind of horrible because, again, you're the numbers guy, you're the stats guy, and it kind of goes to show why maybe it's important now going forward that we have a new voice in hip hop. We need maybe an unbiased voice, a leading voice that can kind of do what he does now, because Akademiks is clearly compromised. And he clearly allows his biases for certain artists to affect the way he speaks about things. But the thing that I don't like about him nowadays is that he gets kind of annoyed at people like Joe Budden when they avoid certain topics, when they involve maybe Jay-Z and these type of people. He kind of gets really ratty and really annoyed when certain media figures don't say the real, or don't talk about certain topics, or don't give it up the way they're meant to. But he does exactly the same thing, if not worse. Because if this would have happened to Lil Baby, he would have been going off on him. But this is Akademiks on his recent stream talking about 21 Savage having 25 million fucking bot streams removed from his album.
Kendrick stuff, right? Here's a point, right? I think even some of y'all were trolling me to speak about this because y'all want to politicize this entire
Oh yeah, and just to give you a little backdrop as well, he was on stream talking about what he talks about on stream, and I think he waited until the last minute. He waited until the very, very last minute to address this. So this is the last subject of the stream. Very well played by him, because the entire stream was spamming talk about 21 Savage, and then when he started talking about 21 Savage, the first thing he did was talk about Kendrick Lamar. It's like, look, I like Drake too, right? In the beef, I wanted Drake to win. I'm still a Drake camp. I'm still an OVO guy. But why are you mentioning Kendrick Lamar when you talk about 21 Savage? It makes no sense.
Thing to be like, oh no, Savage is doing something. Here's my thing. I'm down to call a spade as long as we're calling the spade. So if the gotcha moment is y'all want me to say, oh, Savage is botting.
He is botting though.
If y'all are saying and acknowledging that Kendrick is botting.
Oh my god. If you want me to say that 21 Savage is botting, pause. You have to acknowledge that Kendrick Lamar is botting. We're not talking about Kendrick, we're talking about 21 Savage though.
The proof that we have for that is that billions of his streams were deleted or removed, and now we see something removed from Savage. Okay, let's go along with all of them botting. I don't care. I'm not that. There's Kendrick fans that try to argue against the notion that Kendrick bots, but they try to blame botting on everybody else. And if anybody in this industry seemingly has the most evidence for fraudulence or botting, it would be Kendrick Lamar.
Jesus Christ, man.
So
21 Savage just got 25 million streams officially removed from his album, and he's talking about Kendrick. Now, Akademiks is number one, what's that word called? Number one deflector in hip hop.
So there's 25 million streams that have been deleted. I would like to know more information. I wish Spotify would release some information about why they deleted whatever.
You know, this kind of reminds you of Hassan. You know Hassan Piker, the fucking political streamer. Anytime something goes wrong in his life, he blames Israel. Anytime something goes wrong in his life, he blames the Zionists. I get it. Israel's evil. I get it. The government's doing some fucked up shit. I get it. Zionists are bad. But not every time something goes wrong for you, you have to blame the Zionists and Jews. Maybe in this occasion, not every time that something, involves fucking botting of streams, you have to mention fucking Kendrick. Like, fucking hell.
And is it a sanction? And I wish if artists were botting, we got to treat it like the steroid era. Artists should receive sanctions, but they should receive it publicly. Now, granted, they won't do it publicly because the record labels of these artists, like, for example, Universal on behalf of Kendrick is going to say no. Well, if you announce that Kendrick bots, his fans might stream less. It's going to hurt the business. So don't announce it. But, at some point you have to announce it. You have to announce it to let it be known that there's a shame factor and a punitive aspect of this. That you're not going to just bot, and if you get away with it, it's good. But if you don't get away with it, we just sweep it under the rug. So again, I'm saying I'm not too sure what this means.
How can you not be too sure what it means? It means 21 Savage botted 25 million streams. That's what it means. What more is there to read into it?
Okay. Now, granted, I'm also not.
Or what more is there? How can you be confused? The guy got caught botting streams. No, I don't think anyone is sitting here denying that no one else does this. But the fact that he's not willing to call it out or to address it the way it's been told is just wild. And to deflect on the Kendrick thing is fucking bizarre. This is why I said overall, as much as I enjoyed the beef and I thought the battle was really good between Kendrick and Drake, and obviously Kendrick won. We all know this. Kendrick fucking won. But I think, Drake did kind of, I won't say push, but he kind of allowed the public to be reminded of Kendrick's greatness. I think a lot of hip-hop fans weren't really too aware of how great Kendrick was as a rapper, and we got to see that on full display with the way that he fucking dismantled Drake. But I think after the battle, even during the battle, the reason why I kind of got off talking about it was the fans made it lame. They didn't make it fun. Either fans, the stands on either side, the Kendrick stands made it lame, the Drake stands made it lame. This inability to kind of be objective, to kind of just enjoy what we're witnessing, a moment in history. This wasn't going to spill out into the streets. It was just going to be record for record, rap for rap. It was a great time, but I think the fans made it, the stands made it so nauseating and unbearable to watch and listen to. And I think Akademiks played a part in it. This inability to be objective when it comes to Drake. And you know what I mean? But then blame Kendrick for everything and kind of, dismiss everything that he done. And then vice versa with Kendrick fans. It's just so nauseating and so annoying. Either side. That's why I'm happy it's done. I'm happy it's over. It probably ended the worst way for Drake in terms of him waving a white flag, right? He kind of goaded Kendrick into the battle. When Kendrick started going really hard, he started to kind of, get a little bit whatever. And I won't say ran away, but he waved the white flag. I didn't like that aspect of it. I'm not a fan of the whole suing thing. But I think the fans didn't make the battle fun. I think the fans actually made the battle lame. And I think Akademiks is unfortunate one of the people that did that.
Stupid. If this is has this been something that has happened historically often for Savage? Has it only happened for this one particular album? Has it only happened one time ever for him? Is it something that normally happens on an average of 15 random artists, but viable artists? Do they ever have negative streams? Again, not necessarily protecting, but I think the conversation that needs to be had is an overall conversation, right? Yes, we've seen Kendrick with deleted streams. Now we've seen Savage with deleted streams. I wish Spotify could address it. What does that mean? Does it mean that you guys counted incorrectly? Or these guys are cheating?
It means what it means, my nigga. It means what it fucking means. But big up Kendrick though. Big up fucking Akademiks. Big up Akademiks. Big up Akademiks. Moving on. So most of you guys know, new Jeffrey Epstein files have leaked over the last few days. There's a website that allegedly people are using. If you know the website, please let me know in the comments after when I clip this. But there's a website that people are using that's kind of got a really interesting UI. I think it's kind of made to look like Gmail. I forgot what it's called though. Someone let me know if he knows. It's kind of made to look like Gmail, and you can kind of search Epstein's files that way. So imagine how a Gmail layout is made. Someone built like a Jeffrey Epstein one using the Gmail UI UX, and you can search for it that way. But anyway, if you don't want to do that, there's an official government website. You can search the emails, blah 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 blah. But the concerning things to come out of this, number one, have been the Elon Musk emails where he's kind of begging to go to the fucking island, literally gagging to go to the island. There's emails, I think, concerning Peter Attia, who I'm a big fan of when it comes to biohacking and longevity and fitness stuff protocols. It's kind of disappointing to see him in there. There are emails with the Queen, I think, Crown Princess of fucking Norway, which have been concerning. Peter Mandelson, obviously, a UK MP over here, and a few other people as well. Voidzilla did a really good video about it. I'm going to play here for you and obviously comment along the way. This is courtesy of Voidzilla, aka Coffeezilla. He did a really good video recapturing most of the information. It says new Epstein files are completely insane. Let's play the video and I'll comment as we continue.
The FBI just dropped 3.5 million files, and it is incredible. Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet. I can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean,
yeah, the Bill Gates stuff. The Bill Gates stuff about him trying to slip his ex-wife Melinda Gates some fucking, whatchamacallit, some pills because he caught an STD. Absolutely insane.
it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've seen is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list, there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people on the planet, and that is Bill Gates. Listen, there's a lot we're gonna get to, but we have to start with probably the craziest revelation here, which is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post 2008. That's a big year. You're going to hear a lot today because 2008 was the time that Epstein pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it.
Not to sound weird. I know people keep making this point that a lot of these people were still friends with Epstein after he was convicted in 2008. But to be fair to those people and to society at large, is it me or did PDF stuff not hit the news? Wasn't as serious as it is now? Nowadays, if someone gets accused of PDF stuff, you're getting destroyed. You're getting fucking dragged along, dragged across the coals. You're getting fucking hung. You're getting your lashings for like weeks and weeks and weeks. But I think in 2008, if you did get caught and if you did get convicted of anything relating to like PDF stuff, it didn't make the news. It didn't kind of hit the same way it hits now. So I think if Epstein would have done what he did then, now, I think the kind of atmosphere around him would have been different. He would have been way more toxic, way more nuclear. And I think those people, those influential people, would have probably stayed away from him. But I think back then, it was easier to kind of still be around him because the news cycle wasn't as, fast and whatever, wasn't as vicious. And people maybe weren't as aware of like PDF stuff involving high powerful people. I don't know. I think that's a reason why. I think a lot of the news also didn't really hit the same way it hit now.
Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this came out. Melinda Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein and said he was evil.
He was evil personified.
So you have to
I'll put some little bit of doubt on it. I doubt that Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates because he was friends with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. I think it more has to do with her finding out all this stuff about him trying to slip her fucking anti-STD drugs, you know what I mean? Because he might have fucked some girls on the island. I think that has more to do. That kind of betrayal is way worse than him being friends with an alleged fucking rapist and shit. I don't think she would have cared about that sort of stuff. Personally speaking, I think that's a kind of more of a revisionism thing. But I think finding out literally like your husband may have been trying to slip you some anti-fucking STD drugs or whatever, that's horrible. I can't imagine what that must have felt like. Yeah, I mean, finding that out, because I think she would have known this long time before this hit the internet.
Understand, this is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet. He's got this huge philanthropy arm. But this relationship with Epstein has been a huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement. Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates. And this is where the blackmail starts. And it comes in the form of like, if I were you, I would do X if I were the type of guy that you should be. He says, in that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you had your heart set on. In addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we agreed upon, 30 to 40% of an $100 million partnership for $30 million in today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote, to add insult to injury, you subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to delete the emails I had regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your I mean, this is insane. I mean, it's completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form, I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife without her knowledge. I mean, it's complete. It's crazy. It's just completely obvious what he's doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because you usually wouldn't blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce. So it's hard to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely above board. He says the fact this allegation was in here just shows how much Epstein was willing to defame people. But Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys, this is exactly what we suspect.
I gotta try Adderall, man. Adderall, I don't know if it's because of the media I consume, maybe because I talk about more American type of topics and shit, but I keep seeing Adderall mentioned. I gotta try some of that shit. I keep seeing it mentioned every fucking place. Adderall seems like the drug that kind of unites people from all different types of industries, all walks of life, across the board, any race, any color, creed, and age. Adderall seems to be the one.
Suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people and expecting payment via blackmail. Now you might say, and it's true, that we don't know that Epstein ultimately sent that version of an email to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent to himself was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates did all of that? No, of course we don't. But do I think Bill Gates was innocently looking for charity advice from a after he already pled guilty? No, I don't.
Two things can be true though.
Sorry, I'm not that gullible. And speaking of not that gullible, we've been lied to also by another richest guy on the planet. Geez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out. Elon Musk, who has been...
This might be the most heartbreaking segment of the video. This Elon Musk segment must be the most heartbreaking side of the fucking video, especially with myself being a very forward and out there Elon Musk fanboy. This has been heartbreaking to learn about the guy that I look up to the most. Fucking hell.
Saying 4 years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, he says he refused to go. From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He says, anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt.
That's what he said at one point. Shame on Sky News for this utterly misleading headline. Anyone publishing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Epstein tried to get me to his island and I refused, in all caps. Yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. Here it comes.
Later responding to another headline which said Elon Musk planned trip to Epstein's private island, and he says this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files and we can see on Epstein's calendar that Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein. But maybe you'll believe the word of Elon Musk, who was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk writes, "Will be in BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Good time to visit." Jeffrey Epstein says, "I will send a heli for you." Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just to Lula and me, his ex-wife, what day and night would be the wildest party on your island?
Now, don't get me wrong. Elon is going to argue that he never visited, right? He still maintains he never visited the island. He said he refused. But those emails show that he was trying to get there. He was one of the people actually begging to get there. He wanted to go there. Like, I think there's an email coming up where he basically says, I've been working really hard. I need an outlet. I need to kind of unwind, let loose, go a bit crazy because I've been working so hard. So he was kind of chasing Epstein to go. It wasn't the other way around. He was chasing Epstein to go. Maybe he didn't eventually follow through. Like, I'm kind of I know him. I feel him on that side of things. I make a lot of plans and whatever it may be, and I don't usually follow through in terms of going to him in the end. But it's very different from what he said on Twitter, because he made it sound on Twitter that Epstein was chasing him to go to the island. And he ultimately refused because he knew that Epstein was a weirdo, he was a PDF, he was this, he was that, he's a monster. I'm not going to go in and associate with you. But these emails have really shown us a different version of events. And the really upsetting thing about this, especially for myself, is that he's not really addressing this. He's still maintaining that he didn't go. But it's like, no, but you made it seem like you didn't go because you refused out of your morals and principles. But the emails and the leaked emails show that you were actively trying to go, and he's not acknowledging that side of things, which is kind of horrible, to be honest. And his fanboys making excuses for it still. He didn't go. Yeah, we know he didn't go. There's no evidence so far that would show that he was actually there. No video footage, no pictures, no corroborated witness statements, nothing that shows that he was actually on the island. But those emails do show that he was enthusiastic about going and was chasing Jeffrey Epstein to go, not the other way around.
The world's richest man is asking the most pedophile man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets more explicit.
Yeah, horrible.
In 2012, remember, this is the guy who said, I refused it. I could never do that, right? It's false. Yeah. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose.
And imagine too, look at the date of this. This doesn't matter about the things, but just look at the date. This was sent on December 25th. So on Christmas Day, he was thinking about going to Pedo Island with Epstein. When he's surrounded by his kids, his wife, his family, he sat there thinking about going on Pedo Island. God almighty, Elon. And he even says here in the email, look, he even says here, I'm working to the edge of my sanity, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, like, he was looking forward. He couldn't get his kids out of his house. He couldn't get his kids out of his humble abode quick enough because he went to go hang out with Epstein. Fucking hell, Elon.
The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play the I went to go study math excuse, which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists. Elon's like, hey, I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what I'm here to do. And then Jeffrey Epstein writes, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable.
Jesus Christ. The ratio will be so crazy. I understand. I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make Tallulah uncomfortable. God damn.
Comfortable. I can't believe these guys are lying to us and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what? There's another time in 2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing with the boys. Here, once again, Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Again, is there a good time to visit? Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st to the 8th. Play it by ear if you want. Always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well, if Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right? Because he said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her. And actually, it was the other way. Yeah, it turns out Elon didn't dump the p***. The p*** dumped Elon. He says, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. Hopefully, we can schedule another time in the future. Jeffrey Epstein let Elon down. That's actually the real story.
And it kind of goes to show you, even if you look at Elon nowadays, as much as rich as he is, as famous as he is, as accomplished as he is, as well regarded as he is, he does seem like a bit of a beg friend, doesn't it? The only people that he doesn't really beg from are his reply guys. The reply guys on Twitter, and probably fans like myself, who kind of, worship the ground he walks on and thinks, he's fucking, whatever. But I think in the general, in every other walk of life, people do seem to kind of treat him like a bit of a loser a little bit, that's the interesting part. You've been thinking nowadays, like within his social circle, the way how fallout with Trump was handled, and how Trump made him seem a little bit like a loser and kind of kept him on the outside, and Elon kind of went back on his hands and knees begging for Trump's approval again. I don't know. In real life, you know, amongst rich and powerful people, Elon doesn't seem to be as well regarded as we would think he is as fans, you know?
Is the reason he didn't go in 2013 was because he couldn't go. Jeffrey Epstein was not there. Guys, I mean, how blatant do they have to make it before we start to just see through it, right? When they issue these ridiculous denials, they're totally associated with the guy after the guilty plea. They lie through their teeth, but they can't even keep their story straight. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're not even competent at this. They get caught in their own lies all the time. Remember, the FBI's official story was they didn't blackmail. Well, before we even had these files, Howard Lutnick was on the record calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever.
So
You know what's really interesting though about all this whole stuff? Like, we live in a time where being a liar is kind of rewarded. There's no real consequences of lying. You can lie through your teeth. You can say what the fuck you want. You can embellish. You can twist. You can fabricate. And it doesn't really do anything for you. It doesn't really harm your reputation. It doesn't spoil your brand deals. Even nowadays, going to prison. Going to prison would have like ruined a person's reputation. Would have ruined a person's livelihood. Nowadays, it just puts a pause on you in general. It just puts a pause on your career. When you come back out, you can pick up from where you left from. Maybe you won't have the same level of endorsements and collaborations or whatever, but you can still have some level of a career. You don't really have to go back to a regular 9 to 5 ever again. So we live in a great era of the loser. No, we live in a great era of the liar. Being a liar is well rewarded these days, and it doesn't really matter what you do. It doesn't matter how heinous your crime is. If you lie through your teeth and never admit anything, people move on. When you're rich and powerful, there's no real repercussions, really, if you think about it. None of these people are going to go to prison. None of these people involved in this whole scandal will spend a day in prison. None of them. None of them will spend a fucking day in fucking sweats, a day in a fucking orange fucking outfit. None of them. So that's the real heartbreaking part about this whole thing. There's a lot of social shame going on there. They're being called out in public, blah, 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 blah. But in actuality, it's not really going to do anything. You know, nothing really changes, unfortunately, which is really, really sad.
How come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participated.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
That's what his MO was.
Jesus Christ.
Get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Interesting. Okay, so Howard has a different perspective. Now, if you don't know, that guy, do you think he's just telling the truth there? Even this guy who's contradicting the official narrative, this guy literally lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. This guy who's like, I'm gonna tell the truth. Those guys participated. That guy lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, he lied too. I love this video we're about to get into because this guy, Mr. He's the greatest blackmailer ever, does he know something we don't know? Because it's interesting, Mr. I'm his neighbor had to also explain how he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And he lays it out pretty simply. He goes, yep, I lived next to him, but in 2005, I had such a horrible experience that I knew I could never talk to him again.
he was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
We move in 2005.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy this part of it. Like, oh, you knew this guy for 10 years, right, Jeffrey Epstein? Like, how do you not see all this stuff? I love how everybody knew him for so long but didn't know anything. Like, everybody, oh, I was just there for the science. I was just there for the fundraising. How can you know a person for 10, like, even if you work with somebody in an office, if you work with somebody in a fucking office, if you work with somebody in the store, if you have a work colleague and you know them for 6 months, you'll find out stuff about their lives that you didn't know before you started, but you find out within the first 6 months. There's no way you can't know something that integral about a person's, like, you know, sexual preferences or his most deplorable, debauchery, evil aspects of his life within 10 years. You have to have an idea of it. You probably just ignored it, put it to one side, right? Because you went to look after your own interests, whatever it may be. But this idea that a lot of these former Jeffrey Epstein friends had no idea about all the heinous shit that he'd done is absolutely diabolically not true.
Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 2008, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. And there's a massage table in the middle of the room. Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he like gets like weirdly close to me.
Shut up.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry.
I'll be back tomorrow.
We have to go. And
What a
we
liar. What a liar.
left.
What a liar.
And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Well, he couldn't be more clear, could he, right? He says, hey, I may have been his next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over, and it was like 5 seconds, and we left, and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him socially,
Sure, buddy.
for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
These other guys, they may have participated,
They participated.
but Howard Lutnick, he could never. No, he's too good of a guy. Well, guess what we found in the
Look
old
at this.
emails?
Jesus Christ.
Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located? What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good?
Jesus
Is this the
Christ.
guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife and, oh, I could never be in front of him. He's gross. Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in saying we're headed toward
Not the wife.
you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us. I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly what I said to him. My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the 2012. I boated over to his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that
Absolutely diabolical. But by the way, check out fucking coffeezilla. Check out voidzilla. Sorry, I'll put actually the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat for those of you that want to check it out. It's a really cool little video. He recaps the whole thing really fucking well. Big up Blood Clot Coffeezilla. Big up Blood Clot Coffeezilla. Big up Blood Clot Coffeezilla. Let's move on. The Peter Attia stuff has been quite sad to see, to be honest. I'm a big fan of Peter Attia too. He's one of the rare good guys when it comes to the whole biohacking, supplements, fitness type of thing going on over there on social media. Really good guest on pods. He's got his own real good podcast that he does. I think he wrote a book as well. I think I may have read or may not have read. I'm not too sure. Don't hold me on that. But I'm a big fan of Peter Attia. But Peter Attia is on here looking crazy as well in the emails. One of the emails he sends to Jeffrey Epstein. He says the following: pussy is indeed low carb, still awaiting results on the gluten content though. So he's out here sending, I don't know, crazy emails to Jeffrey Epstein about pussy being low carb. There's another email here between him and Epstein where Peter Attia says, do you ever spend time on Grand Canyon or other Cayman Islands? Jeffrey Epstein says nope. 0, there are other people there. I need to visit sometime. And also another thing too, you clocked as well on Jeffrey Epstein email leaks. I think this is something to be said about rich and powerful people. The richer you are, the more high status you are, the less you write in an email. I think in general, that's the general adage. He writes these emails like he's writing text messages, loads of one-word answers, not a lot of paragraphs really, which I think is a bit of a power move, right? You're writing this big soliloquy, this massive paragraph, this mad fucking novel, and you're just replying back with one line. I think that goes to show, the kind of level and power here over some people. There's a few other emails here I want to check out before we move on to his response, where he said about, this is one of the craziest ones, where Peter Attia says to Jeffrey Epstein, the biggest problem with being friends with you, Jeffrey Epstein, the life you lead is so outrageous and yet I can't tell a soul. So Peter Attia has obviously seen some things there about Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein replies back, said, afraid not. Please tell you found the picture on the island. But so essentially this proves that, Peter Attia saw some things or heard some things about Epstein's life that he felt like were so salacious, so crazy, so wild, maybe illegal, that he couldn't tell the people that he knows, because it would make him look crazy as well. And a few other bits as well here. I think we've seen that one, the outrageous stuff, and obviously all the articles regarding. Oh yeah, and there's this article too from the New York Post. Oh, this is horrible, right? CBS star Peter Attia set meeting with Epstein while his infant son was fighting for his life in hospital. Some people are suggesting that Peter Attia was always known to be a bit of a weirdo because of the Richard Mille watch he wears and stuff, which I don't really buy. But let's read this article quickly, then we'll move on. This is courtesy of the New York Post. CBS News star Peter Attia set meeting with Jeffrey Epstein while his infant son fought for his life in hospital. Tragic article title there. I don't like that at all, but let's carry on. Bear me 1 second here. It says, newly named CBS News star contributor Peter Attia made plans to hang out with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, as his wife pleaded with him to come see her infant son in hospital after the tiny boy stopped breathing, according to an anti-aging influencer's own words. In his book, Outlive the Science of Art of Longevity, Peter Attia, 52, recounted the harrowing moment when he received a phone call from his wife Jill telling him his son Ayrton had suddenly stopped breathing on the evening of July 11th. I stayed in New York, busy with my important work, he admitted. Ayrton's cardiac arrest happened on Tuesday, but I did not come home to San Diego until Friday of the following week, 10 days later. Yo, what a shitty dad, bro. Your son has cardiac arrest. Was it 10-year-old son? Is it 10-year-old son has cardiac arrest and you don't come back a week later? What Attia failed to mention, however, was that during this harrowing time, he was making plans to meet up with Epstein, the disgraced New York financier who was already embroiled in the time of the allegations of trafficking minors, according to a newly released emails between the two. Attia confessed to feeling guilty about his decision, describing it as blind, selfish, checked out husband and father who would likely never forgive himself for ignoring his family. To be fair, I don't even know how checked out you have to be to not. It's one thing being checked out with your wife and shit, right? Maybe she's nagging you in terms of coming back home. But if you receive a report that your son's had a cardiac arrest, surely you should stop everything, innit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, surely you stop everything. But I guess not. Even today, just thinking about what happened, I feel nauseous about my behavior, he said. I can't believe I did that to my family. Just a day after speaking with his wife about their ailing son, Attia made plans to meet Epstein on the July 13th, even offering to change his own schedule to make the convicted sex offender's diary easier. Can do before 10 a.m. tomorrow, he said. Jesus Christ. Sure, Attia responded, I can come earlier if you have hard stop at 10. It remains unclear if Attia and Epstein actually met on July 13th or what they did together. Along with his July 13th emails, the latest trove of Epstein documents unveiled Attia's charming correspondence with a convicted sex trafficker, including an email in which he told the pervert that pussy is indeed low carb. One email between the two men saw Attia boast about Epstein's outrageous life. Attia mentioned in his files 1,741 times in the 3 million documents released on Friday, many of which featured his questions to Epstein's well-being, alluded to convicted sex offender outrageous lifestyle. So let's read the follow-up. Attia released a statement. Peter Attia did release a statement because he was getting absolutely destroyed all over social media, but he did release a statement. He said the following. Peter Attia said, this email is sent to my team last night. I sent a similar version to my patients also. So he's going to put, this is Peter Attia's official statement about how he was, essentially all over those fucking Epstein emails. You've put your trust, your credibility, and your hard work into what I have built together. You put your trust, your credibility, and your hard work into what we have built together, and I take that responsibility seriously. You deserve a complete and honest account of what did and did not happen. I apologize I did not get this out sooner, but I want to be thorough. The purpose of the DOJ releasing these documents is clear: to identify the individuals who participated in criminal activity, enabled it, or witnessed it. And I am not in any of these categories, and there is no evidence of the contrary. Okay, there's no evidence of it. It's kind of scary. It's kind of wild to say. Just saying categorically not involved, just stop there. Don't say there's no evidence I did something wrong. You know what I mean? That's a bit crazy, but let's continue. To be clear, I was not involved in the criminal activity. 2, my interactions with Epstein had nothing to do with his sexual abuse or exploitation of anyone. But that's not the point. Anyway, just 3, I was never on his plane, never on his island, never present at any of the sex parties. That said, I apologize. I regret putting myself in a position where emails, some of them embarrassing, tasteless, and indefensible, are now public, and that is on me. I accept the reality and the humiliation that it comes with it. I want to start by directly addressing the email thread that I've been asked about the most. In June 2015, I sent Epstein an email with a subject line, "Got a fresh shipment." The email contained a photograph of bottles of metformin, a medication I had been received from pharmacy for my own use. The subject line referred to the picture of the bottles of the medication. He replied with the words "me too" and attached a photograph, by the way, of an adult woman. Jesus Christ. Okay. You send him a picture of some medication, he sends you a nude. Kind of crazy. I responded with a crude, tasteless banter. Reading that exchange now is very embarrassing, and I will not defend it. I am ashamed for myself for everything about this. At the time, I understand this exchange was juvenile at the reference to anything dark and harmful. At that point in my career, I had little exposure to prominent people, and that level of access was novel to me. Everything about him seemed excessive and exclusive, including the fact that he lived in the largest home in Manhattan, owned a Boeing 727, and hosted parties with the most powerful and prominent leaders in business and politics. I treated that access as something to be quiet about rather than to discuss freely with others. One line in the exchange about his life being outrageous and me not being able to tell anyone is being interpreted as awareness of wrongdoing. That is not how I meant it at all. I love when people are doing this nowadays. I'm not gonna lie. I do like this trend I'm seeing nowadays, where people say things that can be interpreted only one way, that sound like it's saying one thing, but then they tell you it's not what they're saying. I'm kind of liking it. It's almost like a new form of gaslighting. You say something that says what it says, means what it means. People receive it the way you said it and the way you meant it, but then you tell them what they meant, what you meant by it wasn't what they heard. It's just, huh? Okay, cool. That is not what I meant at all. What I was referring to, poorly and flippantly, was a discretion commanded by those social and professional circles, the idea that you don't talk about who you met, the dinners you attend, and the power and the influence of the people in those settings. What I wrote in that email reads terribly, and I own that. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? He says it clearly in the email. The biggest problem with being friends with you, ? The life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul. That means exactly what it means. You saw some things that were so outrageous, so crazy, that impressed you about this person's lifestyle, but they were so outrageous, so crazy, you couldn't tell anybody. You said exactly what you meant. Like, I don't understand why he's trying to gaslight us into thinking he meant something else. But anyway, let's just continue. I met Epstein in 2014 for a prominent female healthcare leader while I was raising funds for a certificate research. By the way, I thought you were going to throw someone on the bus there. At the time, he was widely known as academic philanthropic circles, the funder of science, and moved openly among credible institutions and public figures. Basically saying everyone else was friends with him too, so don't point the finger at me. Between summer 2014 spring 2019, I met with him approximately 7 or 8 occasions at his New York City home regarding research studies and to meet others he introduced me to. I never visited his island or ranch, and I've never flew on any of his planes. I like how everybody's making that to be the point. That's not really the point. The point isn't if you visit the island or not. The point is the fact that you were in these emails talking to him like he was your friend when he was convicted of, you know, what he was convicted of by that time already. He was well regarded as a fucking PDF, essentially, as a monster, and you were still friends with him. You're still chummy. That's what people have got problems with. No one can really, like, that's probably even worse than going to the island, you know what I mean, in some respects. I never visited his island or ranch. I never flew on any of his planes. When I was at his home, it was either meeting with him directly, meeting with a small group of scientists, doctors, or business leaders, or once at a dinner in 2015 with a number of guests. In retrospect, the presence and credibility of such a vulnerable people in different orbits led me to make the assumptions about him that clouded my judgment, and it shouldn't have been. So I like how all these people who are supposedly rich and famous and super intelligent, right, at the forefront of different types of sciences and politics and social things, I love how all of them had no ability to be discerning, had no ability to kind of see or hear or feel how he was as a person. You know, some of the smartest people in the world couldn't see that this guy was a monster. They couldn't see it. All they saw was the ability for him to fund their research studies and whatever else it may be, but they weren't perceptive enough to maybe, or they didn't have any gut feeling about him as a human being, as a man. Weird, isn't it? I was not his doctor, though several times I answered general medical questions and recommended some other providers to him. Shortly after we met, I asked him directly about his 2008 conviction. He characterized it as prostitution-related charges. So you asked him but didn't read about it, right? You didn't find out if any of you sure about it, right? Mr. Longevity guy. Going out of your way to research all these different chemicals, all these different compounds, all these different medicines and whatever it may be to treat certain things, but no ability to maybe do your own research to find out about his charges. You just ask him one question and then whatever he tells you, you take it on face value. Cool. In 2018, I came to learn that this is grossly minimized. I was incredibly naive to believe him. I mistook his social acceptance in the eyes of the credible people I saw in him for accessibility, and that was a serious error in my judgment. To be clear, I never witnessed illegal behavior and never saw anyone appeared underage in his presence. Of course. In November 2018, I read the Miami Herald investigation article. I was repulsed by what I learned, nauseated. It marked a clear, irreversible line between what I knew before and what I understood after. At that point, I told him directly he needed to accept responsibility for what he did. Cool, but you're still friends with him, right? Hoping to provide the victims for the Herald piece with support, I contacted a residential trauma facility to understand what funding the comprehensive care for many victims will require. Those communications were between me and the facility and were therefore not part of the document release. I spoke with him and shared the information and insisted that he fund the care, beginning residential treatment. In hindsight, even attempting to facilitate accountability was a mistake. So he was trying really hard to stay friends with him, innit? Once again, reflected on how naive I was at the time. So naive, right? He was probably in his 40s then. Peter Attia is what, 50 now? He was probably in his late 40s, early 40s, late 30s. Okay, once the full scope of these actions were clear, disengagement should have been only appropriate response. My intent does not change that, and I regret not drawing that boundary immediately. Nothing in this letter is meant to minimize the harm suffered by the young women Epstein abused. Their trauma is permanent. I'm not asking for a pass from you. I'm not asking anyone to ignore the email, pretend it's not ugly. They simply are. The man I am today, roughly 10 years later, would not write them and would not associate with Epstein at all. Whatever growth I've had over the past decade does not erase the emails I wrote. I recognize my actions and words have consequences for the people I deeply care about, including all of you. I regret the cost it has placed on you and take responsibility for it. I won't ask anyone to defend me or explain this on my behalf. If you have any questions or concerns, I'll address them directly with you, my team. But again, nothing will come of this. He's still going to keep his job at CBS, I think, for the most part. I thought the apology, very lengthy, very wordy, but essentially making loads of excuses, essentially saying that, look, I was a kid, I was a child, I was naive, I didn't know, not willing to take any accountability, responsibility, the fact that you just took the word of other people and the fact that they were endorsing him and giving him a pass, and you didn't make your own, do your own investigations, you didn't make your own judgments. It's just, because they kind of gave him a pass, I should give him a pass too. I find that very, very shaky. And then there's the article here courtesy of the Atlantics, the longevity influencer who went into a withdrawal without Epstein. Went into withdrawal without Epstein's fucking insane as a title. But let's read it. It says, if you didn't know who Peter Attia was last week, here's how you'll remember him going forward. Attia is the guy who once emailed Epstein to confirm that pussy is indeed low carb. Still awaiting results on how gluten content though. Until recently, Attia was known as a wellness influencer with a manosphere and newly appointed contributor at CBS, part of the Free Press Network TV pipeline. By the way, how many of the former guests of Joe Rogan have been on the Epstein files? That's pretty fascinating, right? It's pretty fascinating the amount of Epstein people, associates have been on this list of emails. And it's also interesting if you try and read those, if you try and listen to those interviews, the amount of times Rogan doesn't mention Epstein, goes out of his way to not mention it, especially the chef. The chef who goes, it's kind of diabolical. Rogan did a good job in not meeting Epstein himself personally because he, got the ick from him. But it is kind of interesting to see the amount of former guests who have involved in this email. This is kind of fascinating in general. Let's continue. He has a popular podcast and wrote a best-selling book called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. But Attia is also all over the Epstein files. His name pops up more than 1,700 times in the Justice Department's latest batch of documents. From 2015 to 2018, Epstein and Attia exchanged numerous emails, many of them mundane. Epstein writes to Attia about a very strange vein, like a red pattern on his stomach. He asks Attia what kind of probiotic he should be using. There's talk of MRI scans at Epstein's spine, but others are vile. In 2015, back and forths about cancer and longevity. Epstein muses that he's not sure why women live past reproductive age at all. Jesus Christ. TV's not responded because a comment the network is reportedly expected to drop Attia last week. Nope, they're not going to drop him. Attia, a one-time researcher who earned an MD but never completed his surgical residency, is beloved by his fans for his measured scientific approach to living one's best life. On the recent podcast, he spends 2 hours examining Alzheimer's disease in women. Other episodes, he delves into timely topics like protein intake, fertility, chronic pain, and nicotines. These October discussions about the safety of Tylenol during pregnancy offers an evidence-based counterpoint to the alarmist White House press office at the time of issue. But he's also knocked for overhyping treatments with limited data behind them and for exploiting his eager fans. A A course he offered on longevity cost, Jesus Christ, bro, these grifters. A course he offered on longevity cost $2,500, according to a 2023 Wall Street Journal article. Eric Topol, a high-profile cardiologist who directs the Scripps Research Translation Institute, called Attia a huckster earlier today. In mid-2010s, about the time that he befriended Epstein, Attia seemed focused on building a roster of clients who he could advise on longevity and wellness. His exercise physiologist who once worked with Attia told me that Attia sent him a physical examination of Epstein in late finances cavernous Manhattan residence in 2017. He remembers two young, attractive women who flowed in out of the sessions with Epstein. Though Epstein did acknowledge them, something felt a bit off. A proposed follow-up of the session never took place. The physiologist spoke on the condition of anonymity because he didn't want to be associated with the scandal. He told me that he hasn't spoken to Attia in years. Attia's emails with Epstein revealed no such qualms. In an email with which Attia seems to be pitching Epstein's longevity program, he asks Epstein if you're interested in living longer. Sorry for the ladies, of course. In July 2016, Attia asks Epstein about what he was doing in Palm Beach, where Epstein allegedly abused numerous underage girls. Guess, Epstein writes. Attia responds, besides that. In 2017, Jesus Christ, Peter Attia. Besides that, Attia appears to have spent time with Epstein in New York, rebuffing his wife's pleas for him to return home to California while his infant son's having a medical emergency. In emails, Attia is not just Epstein's medical advisor, but a friend and an ardent admirer. In 2016, Attia wrote to Epstein's assistant that he goes into J withdrawal when I don't see him. Jesus Christ. Cringe, innit? Cringe. This is kind of what goes to show you what happens when you have money and clout, innit? That's why I can't wait until I'm rich and famous. When you have money and clout, people are willing to suck you off and make all types of excuses for your abhorrent behavior. It's absolutely crazy. You literally don't have to change yourself. All you have to do is just get money, become famous, and people will bend over backwards to be your friend and to make excuses for you, even if you're a convicted fucking PDF. When Attia and Epstein met in 2014, full extent of their latter's crimes weren't yet publicly known, but his misdeeds weren't a secret. Epstein, that's what I mean, like, especially in those circles, right? If you hear about somebody having money and funding research studies, it's impossible that you won't hear about them also being a PDF. It's impossible. I don't believe this. Epstein first pleaded guilty to child sex offenses in 2008, and by 2010, he had settled several lawsuits over allegations of sexual misconduct. A representative of Attia pointed me to a long semi-mile culprit that Attia posted on X account this morning. He writes that he never saw anyone who appeared underage. That's a very interesting statement, isn't it? Never saw anyone who appeared underage. God almighty. Essentially covering yourself because you're not actually denying, but you're saying anyone that I saw that appeared underage. Epstein's presence and that he had nothing to do with the sexual abuse or exploitation of anyone. Attia also says that when he learned about the extent of Epstein's crimes in November 2018 Miami Herald article, he confronted Epstein and told him that he needed to accept responsibility and pay for support of those he harmed. I'm not sure about you, but if I found out my friend was a PDF, the last thing I'm going to be doing is advise them on how they can kind of overcome and bounce back from this. I'm taking a break from you. I'm taking a pause. I'm walking away. I'm going to focus on my own self and reflect on our relationship. But I'm not going to advise you on how you can kind of, come back from this, how you can correct this, how you can make good of this. Like, what? Weird. In December 2018, Attia wrote to Epstein that he would like to discuss some stuff with you in person. In his lengthy explanation of his behavior, Attia writes that he was fascinated by Epstein's wealth and access to influential people. Epstein had a contact with plenty of household names, such as Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Attia's emails refer to Ehud, likely Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister who was known to have a relationship with Epstein, but has previously denied any wrongdoing and knowledge of Epstein's crimes. In August 2015 emails, Epstein tells Attia that he's having dinner that night with Musk, Thiel, and Zuckerberg. In 2019, a spokesperson for the Meta founder, Mark Zuckerberg, said that he had met Epstein in passing one time at dinner honoring scientists and was not organized by Epstein. In 2021, Gates told PBS that his meeting with Epstein was a mistake. His spokesperson for Peter Thiel said on Saturday that Thiel never visited Epstein's island, and Musk wrote on X, "No one pushed harder than me to have Epstein files released." That is true though. No one pushed harder than Musk to have the Epstein files released, but he's all over the files now, which is fucking ironic. Attia is more representative of another category of Epstein's associates, researchers who thought Epstein could either fund their work or help push their careers to the next level. Any expert Attia writes that he was introduced to Epstein when he was raising money for scientific research. He said that at the time that he regretted the connection I was a part of fostering between Harvard and Epstein. Lawrence Krauss, a theoretical physicist and commentator, received $250,000 from Epstein's Foundation for a science communication group. At one point, Epstein introduced Attia to Krauss over email because Krauss was hoping to start a podcast and wanted tips. Last year, Krauss said that none of the communication with Epstein was criminal, and that he was shocked, as the rest of the world, that he was arrested. Attia, in other words, seemingly not alone in being wild by Epstein's wealth and well-known friends. A particular challenge for Attia, though, is his wellness influencers offer their followers more than diet and exercise tips. They're selling wisdom. Exactly. Follow my advice, they contend, and you'll live longer and healthier, fulfilled life. But a chummy, year-long association with a convicted child predator is a very least unwise. Exactly. Very, very good point, actually. Very, very good point. I never thought about it that way. That's what they do kind of sell. They're selling the wisdom, the perceived wisdom that they have when it comes to longevity. But somehow this motherfucker had no wisdom when it came to understanding the crimes of Epstein and the impact that it may have had on people, which is kind of surprising and kind of weird. And then the last article regarding this whole shebang is CBS. His CBS role is probably not going to be under threat. Peter Attia has millions of followers and a CBS contract and some seriously bad Epstein file appearances yet. But I don't think his CBS deal is going to come under threat personally. I think he's going to still keep his job in CBS. But let's quickly see what they said here about CBS. He was profiled in 60 Minutes before CBS News head Barry Weiss recently named him contributor to the network. His podcast has been more than 1 million subscribers on fucking YouTube. Attia stepped down from his role at David and did not respond to repeated requests of comment. CBS News has not yet taken public stance on the revelations about his new contributor and did not respond to requests for comments. Some reporting indicates that Wise, a network's embattled new editor-in-chief, is constitutionally opposed to cutting him loose because it would align with what she sees as cancel culture, which is kind of crazy to be fair. Cancel culture isn't being cutting somebody that was, featured prominently in the Epstein files and may or may not have been around when some skullduggery would be around. I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's probably consequence culture, but hey, we live in interesting times. So he may actually get to keep his job. Which is fucking disgusting, which is absolutely fucking disgusting. Cool. Let's move on. Palace Spring 2026 has just dropped. I had a bunch of people reaching out, asking me to review this with you guys, so I thought I would do this live. I haven't actually seen this beforehand, so I'm going to be reviewing this live in real time with you guys right now. So this is courtesy of their website. Palace Spring 2026 lookbook will be launching in store tomorrow, Friday the 6th, and it will also be available on Saturday the 7th in Australia, Japan, Korea, and Hong Kong. But for UK and US, it'll be available tomorrow. So if you want Palace Spring, you'll be able to get that tomorrow. So let's go through the lookbook and let's see what they have for us. Let's see what Palace have for us. So far, the collections haven't been the greatest. I haven't really been, excited or whatever when I've seen some of the lookbooks. Now, most of that has maybe to do a little bit with my own personal dislike for the brand itself. Most of you know my history when it comes to Palace and stuff and the things I've said about them in the past, but I'm still open and eager, and I always have an open mind to be convinced otherwise. And to be honest as well, as much as I dislike Palace, the hate that I'm seeing around them, I would love them to kind of bounce back and remind people how great they are. As much as I hate them, I also want to see them win. It's a weird, I'm kind of flip-flopping a little bit here. I'm a little bit fake, a little bit phony when it comes to that sort of thing. So I kind of want to see them do well. So the first thing we're seeing here is a leather jacket that has a pretty cool smoky skull sort of like artwork on the back, which I'm really like. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of reminds me slightly of who's that guy again? The guy's associated with Supreme. He made a painting back in the day of a candle, and in the candle smoke, I think it has like a word or a name or something. So I quite like that. It kind of reminds me of that artwork. I forgot his name. He was friends with Lucian Smith, prominent artist from New York. He's worked with Supreme in the past. He was friends with what's his fucking name? With Cesar from back in the day. If you know, you know. I forgot his name, but he had a painting that was similar to this, so I kind of like that. And it also comes with matching sweatpants. So a leather jacket with the matching artwork on the sweatpants as well, on either side of the side of the legs and stuff. Not too mad at that. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of, there's like a Palace motorcycle jacket here which I'm really liking. Race, or I guess like a racer jacket. You know what that kind of reminds me of? Where's that? There's a picture of like Ye with ASAP Nas. I'm not sure if I can. Let's see if I can find it. Kanye West. There's a picture, right, of Ye with ASAP Nas, and he's wearing that jacket. It's like a oh yeah, that's the one. See, I knew I recognized it. Doesn't that jacket look similar to this? I wonder if that's where they got it from. Let's see if I can show you this one. I think that jacket he's wearing kind of looks a little bit similar to this. This jacket, this. Remember this? This picture from ages ago, 20, don't get me wrong, they both look amazing. ASAP Nas has got that great fucking Carhartt jacket on with a paint splatter pants, but that jacket kind of slightly reminds me of this jacket that Ye wore back in the day. Not really sure what brand this is, to be honest. It's a motorcycle jacket anyway. It's pretty fucking cool, no? This jacket here kind of reminds me a little bit of what he's wearing there. That particular jacket that Palace made just there. I don't know if it's based on the same one. I could be mistaken. So please forgive me if I am mistaken, but I think maybe that's where the inspiration of that jacket came from. But that jacket on the left is really hard. I really like this one. This one here, Palace Racing stuff, Panasonic on the sleeves, on the chest pocket too. That fucking skunk, what you call it, cartoon character there. That's pretty cool too. That logo, Palace Peace, that's pretty cool. I'm not mad at that logo there. That logo flip. The blue jacket here on the right hand side, the down jacket is decent enough. It's kind of giving me Ralph Polo vibes with the badge emblem here. We still got that smoky skull artwork on the beanie, which is not too bad there. Not too bad. What else we got here? Oh, this isn't too shabby. That ain't too shabby, isn't it? There's like an anorak here. I'm not too mad at this anorak. This anorak is really fucking cool. There's an anorak that features a dog on here with like red eyes. Looks incredibly gnarly. That looks pretty fucking cool. I'm not mad at that at all. This artwork with the fucking smoky skull is everywhere, isn't it? It's not. I don't think it's that great. They need to relax on that as well. They put it everywhere. They put it on the fucking hat, on the back of the jacket. Like, relax with this artwork. But this jacket on the left is pretty good. Again, strong start so far. Decent start so far. Strong start. Oh, I despise this. Oh, actually no, I take it back. I don't despise this. This reminds me of the Fiorentina top. I wonder if that's where it comes from. Fiorentina Battistuta. Fiorentina Battistuta. Battistuta. That's what that top reminds. I don't know if that is based on that though. I don't know if you guys see this. I think that is it kind of based on that. I don't know if it is. That purple top kind of reminds me of the old Fiorentina top from the 90s that Gabba Battistuta was kind of famous for. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Little bit, kind of. Not sure if it is what I think it is, but it kind of does remind me of that a little bit. There's a green shirt here. The bucket hats I don't really care for because unfortunately bucket hats don't look good on me. Oh, this jacket, this jersey is really nice actually. Palace number 9. This jersey is really fucking cool. Kind of looks like a soccer jersey, but also could be a football jersey. I'm not too mad at that. Oh, this Palace version of the Nike tech suit. That's interesting, isn't it? The Palace version of the Nike tech suit. I'm not crazy. I'm not mad about that actually. I'm not mad about this Palace version of the Nike tech suit. I love that they took the dog graphic and put it as a what you call it? As a fucking whatever that thing is again. I forgot the name, escaped me. This jacket on the right hand side with the white lilies is beautiful with the fucking 3M piping here. That's very well done. This jacket is hard. This one in the Domo jacket, they've smashed it. And also the Nike tech suit thing is a really smart idea, given that Palace is quite well known for having pretty cool tracksuits, right? They do pretty cool tracksuits. Everyone loves their sweatsuits in general. I think this is a pretty smart way to go because the tech fleeces have become super popular over the last few years. So this is a smart play for them to make their own version of a tech suit. Let's see how that evolves over the next few seasons. This down jacket here with the, oh, that's actually a cool little idea, isn't it? A down jacket and all the stitching, the embroidery or whatever. It's all in the shape of the trifecta of the Palace triangle. I'm not too mad. I'm not too hyped on the color scheme, the two-tone green thing, right? Neon green, the dark green. I'm not too mad on that, but I do like the application of having the, usually on down jackets it's like a horizontal line going across, but they've kind of made it. It's like a quilted. Instead of being quilted, sorry, the quilt is the trifecta. I'm not mad at that at all. It's probably a lot harder to do than it looks, to be fair as well. Very, it probably was, I wonder why they decided to go, because it's a trifeg, right? And instead of doing it, you know how usually you have like the diamond, it's like a diamond thing that you do, right? When you got like a quilted sort of fabric, they went for having a gap between the triangles. I wondered why they didn't just make them together so it's like a V. Oh yeah, maybe there'll always be a gap. That's probably, I wonder why. But anyway, either way, I'm imagining it's probably a lot harder to do this than it looks. So +1 on the application, on like the, you know, doing it, but I'm not too hyped on the final result. This long polo thing or this sweater knit thing I don't like at all. I'll pass on that one. Oh, I like this actually. This tree bark camo jacket thing is great. This Palace logo too looks like a Snickers logo, isn't it? Look a little bit. This Palace logo with a star kind of reminds of a Snickers logo. The real tree camo logo on the back of the trifeg I don't like at all, to be perfectly honest. Oh, I like this actually. This is probably leather, right, or suede or something. This is beautiful. This pink jacket here kind of gives me Cameron vibes here. This tracksuit actually is really nice as well. This quarter zip with the Palace logo arched on the right hand side there is pretty decent. This is one of their best ones. I'm saying it now. This is actually a pretty decent collection. I'm not too sure people are saying differently for me, but I'm 10 slides in. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. This has been probably one of their better ones. I really like this as well. This Scott jacket is hard. This Scott jacket is really fucking good. The logo here, the Empire State Building head with Palace in the front. I love how all the fucking appliques have been blacked out, but then the only logo that shows is the Scott logo here with the white text. That's fucking brilliant there. Looks really fucking cool. I ain't mad at that. That's that maple leaf. I don't know if this is a Canadian team, right? I forgot the hockey team. That jersey on the inside's nice. I'm not too mad at the anorak. Also, this jersey here on the right hand side, there's an abundance of jerseys, isn't it? This is like an Ajax kind of flip. There's a lot of jerseys and soccer inspired thing for this particular season. So many. The purple hoodie I like as well, or whatever that color is, magenta purple. The teddy bear hat is also pretty decent too, with the ear flaps on it. I'm not too mad at that. The patchwork or kind of, you know, whatever put together flannel shirt, I'm not too mad at that either. I think that's really well done, especially with the, you know, with the flip on the pocket there. I'm not mad at that. So this Rotary camo logo I think works better this way. The Rotary camo logo with like the triangle on top of that thing I don't think works, but when it's done like this on this right hand side where it's kind of like the without the trifeg, without the kind of triangle there, I think it works really fucking well. So big up them. I'm not too sure what the whole Real Tree thing is. I'm not too sure if that's actually a name of a brand, a label or something. I'm not too sure, but that's pretty decently done. And it's also reversible, right? From what I can see there. It's also reversible. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Oh, this fur cheetah number thing is harder than hard. This kind of hairy fur number here. Is it cheetah, lion print, whatever this thing is fucking gorgeous. The styling isn't that great though, isn't it? Not that I know anything about styling, right? Not that I know anything about styling, but a lot of this stuff you have to kind of visualize yourself into how it looks good. You don't really get immediately the feeling from the styling. Like, you know, usually on Supreme lookbooks, they make the styling pop out, so it kind of makes you want to wear the particular items. But I don't think Palace do a good job with the styling of their lookbooks. I don't really like how they did this. Like this ensemble here, with that hat, with those fucking pants, horrendous. So yeah, doesn't really sell the piece too well, but I think it does look decent there. This flannel shirt again is very, very well done. I'm not too mad on the fucking, I don't need the Palace logo on the side of my sleeves though. We can skip that. The shorts, meh. The hoodie, meh. This jumper here on the right hand side looks kind of hard. The Scott collaboration, I'm not too mad at that at all. The hat I don't like. The styling again I think is fucking garbage. This is pretty decent. This Panasonic hairy suede jumper is really nice, especially with the faded or the kind of blurred logo on the front. There's this jumper here on the right is really cool. I think is it Mexico or is it Italian? I think it might be Italian actually. Whatever this Italian flag thing is, this is hard actually. I don't mind this, especially going diagonally. The logo here, this artwork on this t-shirt is pretty cool. I'm not mad at that at all. The P hat obviously is a staple. Those go hard every season. There's a denim jacket here again that has more skull motifs. Actually, I'm not mad at this actually. I'm not mad at this. It's a little bit Urban Outfitters for me, so I wouldn't probably wear it day to day. But I'm not mad at the outline print on the back of the jeans here. I'm not mad at that at all. But again, wouldn't wear it. The Panasonic hat in blue is pretty gorgeous. that denim jacket. I think it had the same pattern as the pattern there on the left hand side. Again, not style the greatest, I'm not gonna lie. The styling on this lookbook is pretty fucking shit, so it's hard to kind of see what's good and what's not. You never guess it, innit? Especially when you think of skateboarding companies, usually by and large are inherently cool. You really want to wear what they got on, but they don't make this stuff look great, innit? I'm not gonna again, I think it's the styling. It looks a bit terrible. This is nothing nothing close to coming to what Stüssy do. Stüssy probably #1 styling, innit? Or maybe even Emilion Dor. Obviously fucking Cortez do a good job of styling really well. Supreme obviously, but this styling is pretty shit. This IX flip jumper is really nice actually, with the piping and shit. It kind of almost looks like the piping looks like the outline of a pitch or something. I'm not sure if that's the mark on it. That Rottweiler whatever Doberman hat print is on the hat. Again, the prints are everywhere. The skull print is on every piece of item. This Doberman hat, you can get the full look of it if you want as well. Oh, I'm not mad at that at all actually. I kind of like this. This is actually pretty nice. This quilted jacket is lovely with the suede, with that fucking, was it raccoon on the back? That's really fucking cool. Kind of random. Don't really get the point of this, to be honest, but I really do like this. I think it's done really well. I think that's embroidered too on the back, so that's really, it kind of looks like a bit like a member's jacket, like a driver's jacket or something. I like the look of this. The fit of this looks fucking fantastic too, and I really like actually the tone of that hat too as well, to be honest. Blah 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 blah. Man, yeah. Again, the camo pants are not too bad as well. The bark. Oh, this fleece is actually pretty decent too. Again, with one more slide to go. This is actually pretty decent, man. Again, the styling is pretty shit, but I think this is actually pretty decent. The teddy bear hat again, instead of being all brown and the cheetah print, so it matches the other jacket before. This kind of flannel thing, this fleece thing is actually pretty decent too in the orange. I don't like anything in this look specifically, even that career inspired shirt, not for me. Yeah, and this is pretty decent, this one on the right hand side, but overall, man, it's pretty all over the place, isn't it? It's pretty all over the place. I don't really get what pants are doing. It's kind of all over the place. The lookbook as well, the styling is not the greatest, but there are some decent individual items dotted around on this, for one, standout piece for me is definitely this GORE-TEX, was it? GORE-TEX 2 liter P-Tech jacket with a canine print. So this for me is a standout. For me, for sure, this is a standout jacket. I think they went fucking crazy on this one. That is fucking crazy. It comes in that print. It also comes in green. It also comes in black. Yep. So that's definitely a standout for me. Another standout will be this Scott jacket. It comes in when there's Palace Scott CWU 90 fit bomber jacket. It comes in this olive green with a orange in lining and black. Oh no, it's black. Sorry, it's all black. So it's only one color. That's the best thing actually. I think this might be something that I would actually wear. To be honest, I'd actually wear this, even when it's got Palace on the name. You know how much I fucking hate Palace, but I'd actually wear that. Another thing that I think that also looks really cool is this even faster jacket. Again, I think it's a little flip, a little nod to that jacket that I talked about previously that had that Ye was wearing with ASAP Nast. I think that's what they did. I think they flipped that one, so I think that's where it comes from. It also comes in pink, so this even faster jacket I think is pretty decently done. It comes in blue, but the standout colorway is obviously this white and black one. This one's definitely the standout colorway for sure. So that's definitely one of the highlights of the collection. I also think this particular jacket here that I mentioned before, the Hungry Raccoon jacket, is fucking gorgeous actually. This is really well done. It also comes, the burgundy actually might be the standout one. I take back that blue, that navy blue dark one. I think the burgundy might actually be the standout. I think burgundy might actually work better. Yeah, it comes in black, navy blue, and burgundy, but that burgundy might be the standout color actually. This furry fleece jacket obviously is a standout piece, but again, not a lot of people will probably be able to wear this. But it comes in it comes in that cheetah print, and also comes in all black. The Too Breezy jacket with the white lilies is definitely something that I think is a standout. It's 3M as well, right? It's 3M, they said, right? Oh, look at it, it's 3M too. It also comes in this like stone blue type of color in a black as well. And I think that's it. I think that's it so far. I think that's it. And the last thing I think I spotted that's really, really good is maybe this indoor funnel fleece, right? That it comes in. Oh, this print is amazing. Kind of reminds me of Agassiz. That print reminds me of something from the Agassiz. Let's see if I can. Where's that? The Nike Andre Agassi. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. I don't know if that's why I got that in my head. Andre Agassi. There's something about that print that reminds me of the Agassiz, you know? Don't know why. But there's something about that print that reminds me a little bit of the Agassiz. Hold on, where's that shoe? Where is that? Where is it? There you go, yeah. Something about that. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. I ain't too mad at that either. It comes in this orange, which is, I think, is a standout. Is that 3M on the back of the collar? Interesting, isn't it? Nice little 3M hit there. Look at that. Wonder what that's about. A nice little, there's like a half crescent 3M thing behind the collar of the fleece. That's a nice little detail there. I'm not mad at that at all. Again, oh, this one is actually good too. The black with the Tiffany blue piping. Very outdoor influence-esque type of vibe. And that's about it. That's about it for me when it comes to the collection. Everything else is a little bit all over the place. And also, yeah, and this patchy flannel, what do they call it? Patchy flannel shirt. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at this one at all. It comes in this oh, it's got a different split compartment on the back. Very Comme des Garçons shirt level. Yeah, this is really nice. That flannel too is actually pretty decent. But the rest of it, you can miss me with the rest of it. And obviously the hat too. This teddy bear hat. Oh, this is something that I might actually try and get. This teddy bear's ear flapper leopard hat. It comes with this. And also comes, I think, in brown, right? Yeah, it also comes in brown. Oh, look at this. Interesting. One side has the logo on it like that. One side like that, and one side is kind of regular. I ain't mad at that at all. I ain't mad at that too. And it's got a secret little stash box in there. Oh, look at the backpacks. The backpacks are, oh, that backpack in green. I might have to get that in green and just debadge it. I might have to get that in green and just debadge it, mate. I might have to get that in green and just debadge it because that badge is a bit too excessive. But that's really nice. This classic outdoor jacket, that backpack is really fucking nice, as is the rest of the stuff. But yeah, some decent stuff in here. Decent stuff. But overall, not the greatest when it comes to Palace. Don't know what's going on with them. Don't know what's going on with them. Don't know what the fuck is going on with Palace. But they're trying, innit? They're fucking trying. That's the most important thing. They are fucking trying. Talking about trying, big up Stüssy. Stüssy have got their spring 2026 GORE-TEX jackets dropping I think tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, February the 6th, available in select chapter stores across Stüssy and stuff. There's a bit of a bigger image here to see the shell jacket. Again, it's fucking gorgeous. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what Cortez done recently too. There's a few decent shell jackets from companies. I like how everyone's kind of making a lot of their own great shell jackets in-house and not kind of going with the big manufacturers to kind of do them in collaboration. A lot of great in-house shell jackets have been produced by companies, these streetwear companies across the board. There's some more images here courtesy of Over and Under. Big up Over and Under for always providing the best streetwear sneaker news out there. Here's some more images of the shell jackets dropping this Friday. Courtesy of Stüssy and GORE-TEX. We've got one in camo, which obviously is something I'd be into wearing. Yellow and black. Maybe in terms of GORE-TEX, you probably could get a camo and black one quite often. If you get a color, maybe yellow, just to kind of stand out, because you don't usually find a lot of shell jackets with this type of style in that yellow color. And then imagine wearing it together would be fucking flames, right? With the pants as well that match. And there's also a logo here on the right hand side of the jacket, which I'm assuming is probably screen printed. The only problem I don't like about this is that I'm imagining this logo is probably screen printed, so it might peel after time, you know. It's the only problem. And I would have liked if the logo on the camo was white, so it stood out a bit more. You know what I mean? So the logo on the black and the yellow is white, it pops up more, but the logo on the camo is black, which doesn't make it pop as often. But still a pretty decent shell jacket all in all, especially for the spring summer nights coming up now. And obviously the closer images again from Over and Under, showing you more closer up images of the jacket itself. Nice little fucking hit there on the sleeve. Usually the GORE-TEX logo on the sleeve is embroidered. Not sure if they have that as a stipulation, but most jackets I've ever purchased, especially shell jackets, the embroidered logo on the sleeve is always embroidered. The logo on the sleeve is always embroidered. But yeah, this really cool jacket coming out on Friday, so make sure you keep an eye out on that one. There's also news courtesy of Hypebeast regarding Sacai and Carhartt collaboration. 4th collaboration for them so far. I don't think they've missed on a single one. I don't think they've missed on a single Sacai Carhartt collaboration. Always very tastefully done, taking staple Carhartt items and just giving them a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a fashion twist, a little bit of a Japanese twist. I think the Sacai lady does an incredible job in terms of presenting her ideas via Carhartt and not kind of taking away from Carhartt being Carhartt, right? Not making them overly fashiony, giving them still that utilitarian, they still got that utilitarian, workman-like, gritty sort of vibe, but they kind of done a little bit more of a tasteful way. So really nicely done. Short sleeve shirts here. Flip on different types of jackets, the logo, which I really like too. You got the Carhartt logo with the Sacai there underneath. Nice, really shiny gold buttons and zips and shit. Oh, look at this. Look at the styling on this shit. So fucking well done. I'm not too familiar with this particular jacket. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of reminds me of like a chore. It kind of looks like a blend between like a chore jacket and a bomber. I'm not familiar with this. I think it might be a new style. It literally looks like a combination of like a chore jacket and a bomber jacket. You got the elasticated sleeves from a bomber jacket. You got the sleeves basically of a bomber jacket. The body of a chore. These sort of flaps here on the inside remind me of a fucking bomber jacket. You know what I mean? Really well done, man. Really well done. Like a hybrid sort of thing. I'm not mad at that at all. Oh, look at it in black. Fucking hell. That looks so good, especially with the big round buttons as well. So you can zip it up. You can also button it up if you want for different types of looks. Ah, that's an interesting flip, innit? So she's taken what you would normally see on like a chore jacket and applied it to a short sleeve jacket with the same sort of collar with the corduroy on it. That's a really interesting flip. I've never seen that before. That's a very interesting flip. There's also a belt included there. It looks like it's on the inside. Oh, look at that. There's also a fucking blazer. I'm not mad at the blazer. Double knee pants. There's a hoodie. Oh, the styling. Just look at the difference between style. Look at the big chunky zips as well. Double zips. Probably YKK, I'm assuming. Or maybe Riri. You never know. So well fucking done, man. The styling on this is so fucking good. So big up Carhartt. All of it looks fucking fantastic. I'm sure this is all going to sell out in fucking minutes as well. Let me just check out Dover Street. Actually, I want to see if this is available. Do we see anything from Dover Street? Do they have them available yet? Let's see. What's new? Oh no, we got here, isn't it? First, is it news? I think there's usually show you something from news. Anything I've missed out on here? Let's see if we scroll down. Nope. What do they have? Was it what's new on men's? Let's see. Maybe it's men's. What do you write here? DSM, not DSM and Y. No, we don't want this. We say what's new. Do you have anything? Carhartt, Sacai. Oh, let's go designers. Let's go. Let's see if this works. Let's see. Let's do Carhartt. Is it available? Or it's just Sacai then? Sacai. Do we have anything available there? Can we see it just yet? No, it's not available to see just yet. In terms of prices and shit. Let me see if I can go this way and say Sacai, Carhartt. Maybe they'll have them available because I want to see how much the jackets are going to cost and shit. Okay, cool. There, it's available. Let's see. Do you see a pricing? This is the fourth collaboration. This must be the one, right? The fourth collaboration, they said. Let me scroll down. That's the that's the bomber jacket. Oh my god. Okay. Let me just forget about this. 1,075 for that fucking, what's it called? It's called a Carhartt Sacai Carhartt WIP work in progress nylon twill duck blouson. It's fucking beautiful though, right? It's got all the elements of a chore jacket, but also kind of blended with a bomber. And love this little curve on the zip. It's a really fucking clever idea. Oh, look at the buttons as well. Look at the goldish looking buttons. That's fucking beautiful. With the heart logo and the Sacai there. Gorgeous jacket, but fucking hell, 1,000. Jesus. It does look fucking brilliant though, doesn't it? What's the thing that I like the most on here? The hoodie is 580. The pants are 625. Oh, that's it. The blazer, the duck jacket blazer thing that I talked about is 1,165. Oh, look at the shape on the pants, by the way. Look at the shape on the pants. This is gorgeous, isn't it? Nice little big bow and bend around them. Isn't too mad at that. And the shirt that I was talking about. Oh, look at the shirt. So the duck shirt is £670. The pricing on this is, you know what's crazy? It's gonna sell out as well. This will sell out in minutes. This is gonna fucking sell out in minutes too, by the way. So kind of wild, kind of fucking wild to see. The cheapest thing on here is the hats, and they're £215. The cheapest thing is the hats, and they're £215. Maybe the color to get is definitely the white color, but that's gonna stay so quickly. Fucking hell. It's £215 for a hat. Okay, man. So yeah, big up Sacai, big up Carhartt, dropping very soon. Sacai and Carhartt dropping very soon. Actually tomorrow. So keep an eye open for those dropping tomorrow. Keep an eye open for those dropping tomorrow. new news. On some new news. This is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, this is fucking pretty cool. So I saw these on my Twitter recently. The first colorway I saw, if I'm being honest, was this particular one worn by Rich Paul. Big up Rich Paul. Rich Paul gives us the first look on the up and coming Klutch Athletics, which is I think his agency. New Balance AR AC Runner, which I love, by the way. I love this idea, which I think Nike popularized, where you introduce new models via collaboration, and then if they hit, and obviously don't mind if they hit, but then they kind of, you know, bleed out in terms of GRs later on. So I'm liking that New Balance are introducing this new model called the AC Runner as collabs first, and then obviously trickling it out with kind of regular colorways going forward. And it's a really cool design. It kind of essentially, there's no panels on the upper with the exception of the heel, and I think something on the tip as well. And the upper is made up of, it looks like a mesh. It looks like some sort of form of mesh on the top, and then it's got this really amazing print, so you can apply the print on the upper that kind of gives it the sort of like panel look. So you got this nice kind of effect here, almost smoky stencil on the upper that kind of gives it the illusion of having panels. You have the big massive N on the top, and then you also have quite a clever little lacing system here on the top that kind of gives a bit of an Air Max sort of feel behind it. There's elements of this that kind of remind me of the Nikes that Drake does with Nike. They kind of remind me a little bit of that, but it's also very uniquely New Balance in terms of the shoe. You got these kind of little bubbles here on the back here. I don't know what this what's this, fresh something. Don't know what this technology is on the heel, but it's some sort of encapsulated, I guess, air stability sort of thing going on here. But it's a clever design, really cool design. Not the most chunkiest thing in the world, but also kind of sleek looking too. And it's got the Klutch Athletics insole, which I think is what Rich Paul does, and it's got the K as well on the inside of that little circle translucent badge on the front as well. But a really cool design, really cool new color option. Again, for someone like myself that's been crying for new models, and especially New Balance, they've got such a treasure trove of archive models that they can kind of go back to. But I love that they're still trying to push the envelope and release new, different silhouettes, and not just rely on the same old. So big up New Balance for doing that. As you can see here is an alternative colorway in orange, right? What's this colorway? Tangerine, due to drop this year too. The tangerine colorway is really nice as well. The only thing maybe I don't say is probably the lightest about the black is I like the different. I like this option with this midsole being a different color, or at least being two-tone, or maybe being white at the back. It kind of helps to break up the shoe a bit. I think the same kind of midsole kind of makes it. I would have preferred maybe the midsole to be white, if I'm not mistaken, but I still don't mind the model itself. You got this nice tangerine, almost lava effect on the outside. Obviously on the tongue here, you got New Balance instead of what Rich Paul has on his, which is the logo of his brand, Klutch, or the agency Klutch Athletics. And then you've also got another side view of the shoe. Really nice profile, very nice profile. Again, very Air Max reminiscent. Kind of giving me a little bit, again, not gonna go too long, it's kind of give me a little bit of a John Geiger 004. I'm not talking about John Geiger too often on here, but it kind of feels a little bit John Geiger-esque, isn't it? There's something a bit John Geiger-y about these shoes as well. Maybe it's the tip, maybe it's the size of the midsole. There's something kind of John Geiger-ish about this shoe. I don't know what it is about it, but in particular, I do like it in general. Again, new models, I'm always going to encourage that. Can't wait to see what other colorways they have going forward and other collaborations. But again, a really interesting shoe. Looks even better as well. They passed the shoe, they passed it on the foot check as well, especially top down. They passed it on the foot check. They look fucking splendid. They could easily be worn as like basketball shoes as well. I'm not gonna lie. They could easily. I know they got the it's got a run on the name, right? It's got Arc Run. Yeah, it's got AC Runner on the name, so they're meant to be a running shoe, but they could easily work as a fucking basketball shoe too. I'm not gonna lie, they do look fairly fucking cool. I really like these, especially this little circle bubble thing. What's it? Fresh foam. What's New Balance? Let me find out. What's that? What's New Balance Fresh Foam? New Balance Fresh Foam. What the fuck is that? What's their Fresh Foam technology? Explained. What is New Balance Fresh Foam? Fresh foam is a unique cushioning material which is used in most midsoles of New Balance shoes. This foam provides cushioning without loss of energy. So it's the same. It's what they do usually, but they just applied it in a different way to make it look a bit different. You know, they just kind of did the whole like bubble thing to make it look like a bubble thing. But it's essentially this just like a design, you know, a styling piece. But it's not really. I guess the fresh foam isn't only in this little circle. It's probably across the whole midsole. Cool. Don't mind it. Don't mind. And the tread as well looks fairly interesting too. Interesting tread as well on the outside. So yeah, decent design. decent design. Well done from New Balance. Well done dropping a new shoe. Well done to New Balance for dropping a fucking new shoe. We love to see it. We love to see new shoes. We love to see new fucking shoes. Next on the list, let's quickly talk about the Grammys. I forgot to mention that. Big up to everybody that participated and won. Grammys Awards 2026 list of winners. Let me quickly go through some of the things that I thought were standouts. Obviously, the number one's announcement goes to Bad Bunny. Won Album of the Year ahead of Justin Bieber, Sabrina Carpenter, Clips, Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, Leon Thomas, and Tyler the Creator, which is a pretty stacked list, especially when you include Kendrick Lamar's year and what he's had to do and the amount of awards he picked up. The fact that he won ahead of all those artists is fucking monumental. I love how he accepted his award. The tears as he's sitting down in the crowd, kind of, gathering himself. And it was interesting too, because it felt like he wasn't there with a lot of his team. Usually whenever he goes to these award shows or whatever industry events, it feels like he's always surrounded by a whole bevy of people, from his team are surrounded him. But it felt like on this particular event, maybe on the table that he was at specifically, maybe he just chose to sit by himself more. I don't know if they kind of limited his team to kind of be away from him or whatever. But it was really interesting how he was kind of there on his own, sort of like taking it all in, reflecting on the whole situation. And it's kind of cool too how this whole video has turned into a bit of a meme. People are using this now as a meme, but it must have been an incredible moment, especially considering the competition he was up against as well, to kind of receive that award. And I also really loved, and I really do kind of bless him. You didn't really see it, but bless fucking Harry Styles, because Harry Styles, I think, again, I don't have any evidence of this, but I think Harry Styles was probably practicing in the mirror a million times over his pronunciation of fucking Bad Bunny's album. So he got that perfectly correct, and he did actually get it pretty well. But because he announced the album, he announced the name and who won, the crowd went fucking crazy, so you couldn't really hear him. So he kind of missed his big moment to show off his ability to speak Spanish or pronounce the words correctly. So everyone kind of missed that moment. It was a pretty cool acceptance speech as well by Bad Bunny, mostly in Spanish, which is fucking great, and obviously kind of gave some passing remarks at the end in English as well towards the end. Very well done, very well composed. I love this shot of Sabrina Carpenter in the crowd, seeing him pull up to the stage, licking her lips and fucking, fantasizing about fucking Bad Bunny the way most women do fantasize about Bad Bunny. And obviously his men's, I think that's a bit there, right? When it kind of gets to Sabrina Carpenter and she sees him and she likes what she sees there. She definitely likes what she sees. And I also love the fact that he was wearing, if I'm not mistaken, a very rare custom-made Schiaparelli men's item as well. Very, very rare. You don't really see a lot of people. You don't really see him making a lot of men's items at all. But this is a bespoke, custom-made thing made specifically for Bad Bunny that had this amazing kind of like harness or lace system at the back. It gave this really kind of regal effect towards the back as well. It looks fucking amazing just in general. Great outfit, great acceptance speech. He fucking killed it. Big up fucking Bad Bunny. And then if I had to maybe say as a counter, in terms of the year and the activation, if I had to be a bit picky, maybe I would have given it to Tyler the Creator. If Bad Bunny wasn't on the list, I might have given it to Tyler the Creator, But I think he did well in terms of winning. Record of the year, hold on, let me just get this out here the way. Guardian website is fucking annoying. Record of the year went to Kendrick Lamar and SZA for Luther. Again, no one else was ever going to win that award, especially when that record was on the list there. But again, if it was up to me, I probably would have gone for Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. I really enjoyed that record. Song of the year went to Billie Eilish, Wildflower. I've never heard it in my entire life. Other notable records on there probably may have been, if you're really being a little bit, controversial, you might give it to Doechii, Anxiety, especially considering the year that she's had. Best pop solo performance, Lola Young, by the way, Messi winner. Big up Lola Young. Lola Young, I thought, had a bit of a hard last year or so, because I felt like the social media just decided to hate her all of a sudden because of her theatrics and the way that she performs and stuff, and the way that she emotes and kind of looks when she's on camera. But in general, when it comes to singing, when it comes to the ability to sing, she sounds fucking incredible. So it's quite cool to see this change in the kind of reception of Lola Young. And the fact that now she's won a Grammy, I feel like a lot of people are now revising what they had to say about her, which is again goes to show how fickle social media is. At one point, everyone was like, going out of their way to kind of hate her and to kind of troll her, to the point where I think I wonder if some of the exhaustion that she felt on stage was not in partly just exhaustion, was maybe in part due to a little bit of the bad response that she was getting on social media. But now, ever since she's won this award, I feel like I've seen nothing but Lola Young praise on the timeline. So again, it's interesting how things quickly changed. Best pop vocal album went to Lady Gaga for Mayhem. I think that was greatly received as well. Maybe if I was being, again, a little bit, critical, I might have given it to Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus's album. Best contemporary country album went to Jelly Roll. I listen to country, so I wouldn't know anything about that. Best Musica Urbana went to Bad Bunny as well. He won that Latino section. Best new artist went to Olivia Dean. I think that's very well deserved and justified. The only other artist on that list who maybe could have gotten it ahead of her might have been Leon Thomas. Sorry, the Maria's new artist is fucking crazy. Maybe Leon Thomas. Maybe Leon Thomas would have been the one I would have gave it to, but having the Marias as new artists is fucking crazy. Best rap album went to Kendrick Lamar. I don't think that was deserved. I think I would have given that to Clips. I think I haven't revisited Kendrick album Lamar since it dropped, to be honest. I think that was not, Best dance pop record, Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. Again, the Clips wore matching outfits with Pharrell, which I thought was a bit strange, but hey. Best rap performance went to Clips, Chains and Whips, which are great. They got a Grammy. Best country solo performance went to Chris Stapleton. Best rap song, Lefty Gunplay, TV Off, which was great as well. So you get Lefty Gunplay on the stage receiving that award. Best R&B album, Leon Thomas, Mutt, fucking incredible. Again, I think this award, or this Grammys, was more so a recognition of people who have been in the industry for like 20 plus years, or maybe not, more than 10 years, sorry. So it's great to see people like Kalani, people like fucking Leon Thomas getting their flowers for all the work they've been putting over the years. So great to see that. Best rock album went to Turnstile. Best dance album, I was a bit weird about this. I thought You Sexier. I enjoyed it when it dropped. I thought the activation around it was fucking fantastic, especially in London. I thought FKA Twigs went crazy with the videos, with the activations. I think she did the thing at the cause, like so great things. I think the activations were way better than the album itself. I think the album itself, I expected to be a lot more punchy, a lot more techno inspired, but it was a lot more, melancholic, I'd say, for lack of a better term, if that makes any sense. It was a lot more toned down than what I thought it would be based on the kind of activations and the videos and the tone that she was setting forward, especially with the raves. But still, I think when it comes down to maybe putting together the total package, encompassing an album, making it into your entire persona, the entire rollout, I think she did just as good of a job as what fucking Charlie CX did with Brat. I think she did such a good job with this section for the last year and a half. So if that what she got the award for, then I get it. So big up her for that one. The only other person I would have probably liked to have given it to might have been fucking Pink Panthers for Fancy That, just as a kind of celebration to her artistry as well. But regardless, who cares? Youngblood got an award, happy for him. He seems like a good kid. Who else I like here? Kalani Folded, incredible record. I played that a bunch of times as well, so I'm happy that she got that, a Grammy for that one. What else do we like here? She got 2 Grammys. She got Grammy for Best Performance and also Best Song. Big up Kalani. What else do we like here? Best Rock, Nine Inch Nails. Tyler Chandler's got an award. The Cure got an award. And yeah, that's it. So that I really liked about the Grammys. Obviously, we mentioned Bad Bunny receiving his award. Obviously, this is incredible too. This picture taken, I think 20 years apart. One time Bad Bunny was out here working as a fucking cashier, and the next moment he's out here at the Grammys receiving an award. Let's go to Grok quickly here actually. Examine the link post. Let me actually quickly see here. So it says that in Grok actually. Grok says in the bottom, it says, yes, that's a real photo of Bad Bunny, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio walking as a bagger and cashier at the Econo supermarket in Villa Baja, Puerto Rico around 2016 before the music career took off. Sources tell People in Biography confirm his humble start. So in 2016, he was working as a bagger in a grocery store. And then fast forward to the Grammys, he's wearing Album of the Year for an incredible album, entirely Spanish speaking, no English on the album whatsoever, and he wins a Grammy. Fucking phenomenal work. So big up Bad Bunny for that one. The performance, the Leon Thomas performance for Mutt was again another reminder of how great of a song that was. We don't really get a lot of hit records nowadays, but I think R&B is still holding up things, and I think Mutt is definitely one of those all-time great R&B records. That'll definitely stand the test of time with all the great R&B records from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s, early 2000s. I think Mutt will definitely, Mutt will definitely be one of those records that'll definitely stand the test of time. It's aged fucking fantastic. Every time I hear it, I want to hear the whole thing played out in full, not just the chorus, not just the first verse. Incredible record, incredible performance by Leon Thomas, one of the greatest live performers we have as well in the country, or in R&B in general. So if he performs live, definitely go and try and see him perform. He's fucking fantastic. Tyler, the Creator performance was amazing too. I liked how he addressed all the controversy around his previous statements and how maybe anti-black some of it will be without actually ever addressing it directly. I think he did a good job of reminding people of his journey and what he's done so far. I love the inclusion of his Ferrari F40 again, which he's been kind of showing off for the last couple of times I've seen him out. Music videos, once again, don't blame the guy because it's a fucking fantastic car. And again, I'm not a big car dude, but if there's one car that I would like to have in my collection one day, it would definitely be the Ferrari F40. It's fucking gorgeous. Him driving that on fucking stage is such a fucking flex. I loved everything about it. He did a fantastic fucking job. He's standing on the top of it on a bonnet. He's going fucking crazy. Like, and then at the end, he explodes. I think the pressure doesn't explode, and he collapses on the bottom of the crowd where everyone's sitting down. I think he stays there for a while actually. People are actually recording him. He stays there for an actual while. It's fucking fantastic. Big up Tyler, the Creator. An amazing performance there for the Grammys. Chappelle Roan wore an incredible outfit too on the red carpet. She had an interesting little interaction with Jamie Foxx as she's on the red carpet, which I thought was really sweet, with Jamie Foxx kind of introducing Chappelle Roan to his daughter, who's also I think an artist coming up. She obviously, you'd imagine someone like Jamie Foxx's daughter, who's probably, I wouldn't even say she's probably not in her 20s maybe. That's probably her Lady Gaga, her idol. But it was interesting in interaction because it felt like Jamie Foxx went to meet Chappelle Roan because he probably likes what she looks like, and she was dressed amazingly. And it also felt like he went to introduce her to her daughter. So the energy he was giving off to her was a bit awkward. Like she felt like he was trying to chat her up a little bit, but he's actually trying to choose the daughter. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, but I thought it was handled very well. Big up Chappelle Roan for making the time to kind of shake Jamie Foxx's daughter's hand. I think the artist is the one there in that jacket there, and that's the other daughter that does like TikToks and stuff. But Chappelle Roan had to kind of be quickly escorted off the red carpet because obviously there's time. So I thought that was an interesting little interaction. I thought Trevor Noah's kind of jokes regarding Drake and Kendrick were also pretty funny. So big up him. He said, I actually thought about roasting you and then remembered what you do to light-skinned men for other countries. So that was a pretty decent little section there. I thought in general Trevor Noah did a good job too. So big up Trevor Noah. They're not the easiest things to do when it comes to these type of shows. So big up Trevor Noah. I think in general, maybe just keep people like him in general, because you know, his type of humor, his type of presentation I think works well in the Grammys. I don't think you need somebody too avant-garde or pushing the edge when it comes to this type of platform, so I think he did a good job. This is a funny little interaction between Platboy Max and Gustaffelstein in the back. Gustaffelstein obviously looked incredible when he received his award, but I love how people only found out about Gustaffelstein with this particular episode of the Grammys or this particular incarnation. But I did enjoy this lack of interaction between Gustaffelstein and Platboy Max, mostly because you would imagine Gustaffelstein probably just wanted to keep himself in character and not talk to anybody. And also because maybe there's a bit of like, you know, snobbery, like I'm this big artist, legendary artist, electric crash legend, electric music legend in general. I'm not gonna, don't need to say hi to Platboy Max. And Platboy Max having no idea who he is, really. No idea who he is, and just maybe thinking incorrectly that his, fame as a streamer would be enough to grant him a handshake, and Gustaffelstein completely ignoring him. I thought this was pretty funny. Let's play the clip.
Wait, who is bro? Who is that?
I don't know, gang. Well, that's hard.
What the hell? Wait, who is that? Do you know who that is? What'd you say?
His name is Stüssy.
Yo, I like y'all.
Nah, bro.
That's pretty good.
Why he just air my shit like that? Nigga, the mass swag. All right, come on, I'm ready.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good interaction. I kind of enjoyed that. I think it's a nice thing to see. Again, I saw some clips from Platboy Max's stream during the Grammys, and I did kind of enjoy, weirdly enough, I know this sounds like hating, but I did kind of enjoy the lack of love that he got from certain people in the industry. It kind of goes to show you there is kind of room to grow. You got to still aim for certain things. And just in general, his kind of naivety when it comes to sort of things is kind of refreshing to see as well. The fact he's willing to put himself out there and, and say hi to certain people. But I don't think this is a bit fake. This is a bit fake. He didn't know who he was. his friend had to tell him a couple of times what his name is. He didn't even say the name correctly, and then he tried to shake his hand and be all friendly. I mean, allow it. You don't know the guy, just look and keep it moving. But I think the mask, the outfit is fucking phenomenal. Constantine did an amazing job. I really fucking love it, especially a guy like myself who I record myself quite often. I love to sometimes have a level of anonymity. The fact that he's able to get this mask, which kind of accurately depicts what he looks like, right? The mask he wears, full helmet thing. It accurately depicts what he actually looks like without actually showing you what he looks like. I think it's a really great idea and mask. Whoever made that for him fucking killed it. And then there's this video too that was fucking hilarious, where somebody from the Grammys incorrectly mistakes fucking Playboy Max as being, I guess, one of the camera people there, and asks him to take some footage, which is kind of shameful. But again, another reminder about where you are on the totem pole.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hi. I have Jamal and Jamal Roberts, American Idol, and Jonathan. Can we get a shot? Are you with the Grammys?
What'd you say?
Is this the Grammys camera?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
This is E.
No. This is Playboy Max.
Okay.
All right, bet.
Left or right?
Told you I'm not shit here, nigga. It's cool.
Clear, please.
You gotta work. This damn motivation. Clip all this shit, chat.
Is this E? No, this is Playboy Max. Kind of embarrassing, but I do kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, and he took it pretty well. And obviously, got this image here. It says Kendrick Lamar has officially tied Jay-Z for the most Grammy wins by any rapper in history with 25 each. Again, doesn't move me as much as I like Kendrick as an artist, like him as a rapper. The fact that whenever he puts something out, he's always gonna win a Grammy. It's kind of annoying now. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of getting annoying, kind of getting a bit exhausting. Every time he puts out a project, every time he raps, it kind of it's all but guaranteed he's gonna win a Grammy. He's not gonna. I don't think there's been a Grammy so far, except for maybe the one that he lost out to fucking what's his face, that he's been nominated for and not received at least one Grammy. You know, any Grammy ceremony that he's been nominated for, he's at least come away with one. So it's getting a little bit boring. I'm not going to lie, but hey, congratulations to him. And then lastly, I want to touch upon a bit of this. I'm sure some of you guys have heard about this as well. On a penultimate subject, sorry. Ye Mexico. Ye performed in Mexico City recently. Fantastic performance, right? Fantastic performance, fantastic fucking production. You know what happens when it comes to the Ye and the production of these shows. If I'm not mistaken, it was this massive circular stage right in the middle of the stadium or wherever it was, and it kind of they made the projection on the center of the stage made it look like a moon. So it's like him performing on a moon, like on a rocky planet somewhere, and it's him performing solo with a guest appearance from his daughter Northwest doing some bits and bobs as well. But a really fucking well produced fucking show. When as per usual, when it comes to Ye, I think it was streamed exclusively on Amazon. There's Northwest looking incredible, and it's interesting too because you can see the difference with her growing up. You can see a difference between when she was on stage 1 year looking very timid and shy, and looking very, very confident and assured, kind of standing up with her back straight. Hearing the vocals way more, that was fucking cool to see. But in general, the production of it was fucking incredible. Like, it's going to see the projectors here, everyone in the arena, look, all the lights. I love the fact that there was a section in the set where they had the fireworks corresponding with the beat of the track. Fucking incredible. I don't know how they did that, but the fireworks going off around the arena was corresponding with the beat of the track, which was fucking amazing. Here's another. Let's take this video. Ye in Mexico footage reel. Let's actually play this quickly here. From 515 Media, La Mexico. Look at that stadium. Look at that arena. Fucking incredible, isn't it? Let me mute it because it's going to copyright strike me. But look at that. Look at the stage. Look at that. Incredible views. Incredible views, man. Look at this. Fucking hell. Absolutely packed, sold out arena. Merch on deck as well. Just him on the stage by himself. No crazy shit. It's just the size of the stage is all it doesn't get spoken about enough, innit? The size of the stage is fucking crazy. How big of a stage he performs on. But it still feels intimate. That's a really interesting thing. He somehow performs on this massive cavernous stage with so much room between him and the audience, but it still feels very intimate somehow. I don't know how he does that. Amazing aerial views. They put some. Look at that, fucking fantastic. Look at all the lights. Fucking looks so incredible. He fucking killed it. All the fans going crazy. All the plumes of smoke. The projection on the floor. I don't know how they. I wonder how they did that, but I wonder how they're able to project the images on the ground. With no. I wonder if there was a camera hoisted above the air. I wonder how they did that in general. The fireworks as well exploding to match the sound of the beat of the song. Absolutely incredible and well done. This is the entire set list. The way he performed 39 tracks. He opened with Heartless and ended with Runaway. Can't go wrong with that one really. There's some images of people that were there in the audience who traveled actually to Mexico to watch it. Look at that. Look at that. Incredible, isn't it? Let's go on the next video. Incredible, man. So fucking well done. Big up Ye. Loads of images of him and his daughter together too, looking fucking great. Northwest looking like a grown-up. She's the same height as Ye too. That's really concerning. She's just going to be a really tall girl. She's what, 13, 12 or something? She's already the same height as her dad. That's fucking great. Looked amazing as well with the hair and the fucking icon. You fucking love that. Big up her. Yo, big up Ricky Picture. Big up Ricky Picture. Big up Ricky Picture. I appreciate you for the super chat, brother. Big up Ricky Picture.
At Rick Picture donated $4.99 through super chat. Congrats on 1,000 eps, my man. We love you. Big ups.
Yeah, big up Ricky Picture. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. You're a legend. 1,000 plus. We're heading over to 2,000 very, very soon. This is Ye in Mexico taking a picture of people at a restaurant. I'm assuming he was probably eating at. We've got to love that. We've got an image of Ye traveling in his car. Ye spotted riding around in Mexico City in his chromed out Maybach. Oh, he's now okay. So it's not chrome; it's now black as well. Love that, by the way. Driving around his Maybach. Yes. Love it. Ye's meals. Okay, so this is what Ye ate in Mexico. These are some of Ye's meals. I don't know what they are, to be honest. I'm not too familiar when it comes to Mexican cuisine, but this is what Ye ate while he was out there in Mexico. You gotta love that. What else have we got here? A couple other bits and bobs of him around driving. And then I guess the last thing I wanted to mention when it came to Ye is the pictures of Ye and Bianca Censori out there in Mexico looking incredible too. Some new boots are meant to be coming out soon from Yeezy, I'm assuming too as well there. The thing that was really interesting about this whole performance of Ye in Mexico was how medicated he looked. He either looked very medicated or looked very old. I'm not too sure what I think about him, but he either looked very, very medicated or very, very old. He was moving very stiffly. I think this might be the video. Like he's walking weird. Like the way he was walking was very strange. Like, oh yeah, there's some guy came up and hugged the A. That was fucking beautiful. I don't know if he suddenly got old or if he just looked like he was heavily medicated. So that's one of the sad things about being a Ye fan. To get this type of level of show, to get this type of level of touring from Ye, he's going to need to be heavily medicated, but we might see a different version of him, you know, in terms of how he kind of carries himself and shit. He's not going to be maybe as there's a Coyle Ray wearing a really crazy outfit too when she went out to visit the show. Well, went to watch the show. Sorry. So again, I'm not too sure what that means. Was Ye heavily medicated or did he just look suddenly his age? I'm not too sure. There's another video too I want to see here. I can't. Oh look, somebody's wearing a swastika shirt. Crazy. Some guy in Mexico wearing a swastika shirt. Absolute legend. Big up this guy. Big up this guy wearing the swastika shirt. I don't know where he got it from because I don't think they were actually shipped, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they were actually shipped, but he's got the shirt there. So yeah, that was Ye performing. What was the venue called? The Monumental Plaza del Toros, La Mexico. So that's where he performed. Sold out show, 2 nights. You gotta fucking love it. And then yeah, this is Ye at the restaurant he ate at, he loved. Love that as well. How else is it? And I think that's it, right? That's the chromed out car again. Yeah, in the chromed out car, which I fucking love. And yeah, man, like I said, he looked heavily medicated, but at least he looked like he was ready to fucking sing, ready to perform and do his fucking thing. And so far from what I've seen on the pictures and clips, it looks like it was a fun fucking show. Everyone that performed, they look like they had a fucking blast. The outfit wasn't Yeezy, if I'm not mistaken. I think the outfit was some brand. I forgot the name of it. It wasn't Yeezy though. It was another brand that he wore. It looked like Yeezy, but it's not. And then that's him walking. Yeah. Yeah, he looked heavily medicated. Oh, no. He looks a bit. He looks a bit zoned out. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I think he looks a bit. He looks a bit zoned out. No, if it's me. That's pretty cool, though. No, just saying one line and letting everybody else say one, and everybody else finishes it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so was he heavily medicated or was he just, you know, in his bag when it comes to performing? Just taking it easy, chilling, zoning into what he needs to do. I wonder. Heavily medicated or just in his zone? I don't know. Either way, Ye killed it. By all accounts, Ye fucking killed it. So big up Ye. Northwest is out there as well doing a team. Bianca's is already holding it down. That's some pictures of the merch you see there. Ye live in Mexico, which I think this is a flip on some older Gosha Rubczynski piece, I'm not mistaken. I think this is an older Gosha piece that was flipped to make this design. I'm pretty sure somebody made that. Maybe actually Gosha Rubczynski made it as well, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Gosha Rubczynski actually made it too. Yeah. Cool. And then yeah, a picture of Ye with Bianca Senzori at the La Casa Pellegrini iconic artist Luis Barragan in Mexico as well there. Images of what he ate and some other bits and bobs as well. You gotta love to see there. So big up Ye. Big up Ye, big up Blood Clot Ye. And then last thing to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about is this. I'm sure some of you guys are aware of these shoes already. This is the, what's it called? The Nike ACG GOADOME lows. Now this is interesting because this particular shoe, if I'm not mistaken, is just a flip. It's just a cut, a low rise version of this particular shoe here, which is a Nike ACG Air Max GOADOME, right? Basically the Nike boot. This is essentially what it is. They've kind of just taken that boot and made it in the low. But is it me or does it look 10 times better in the low than it does in the boot? I love the boot, right? This pony hair version that came out in black and also came out in this kind of cow print, right? Whatever, this catchy patchy pound print is fucking hard as fuck. I think they did a really good job with these. I think these were very underrated and not maybe worn as often as they probably should have worn. I think I definitely will keep my eye out in terms of getting a pair myself, in terms of the bubble all the way around, ACG vibes. They look fucking fantastic, especially how this guy's got them worn too with the white socks. They look fucking great. They didn't get enough hype of what they were meant to get, but I do think this actual low version might be better, you know. Somehow they look like two completely different shoes. Were they done in a high or were they done in a low? They look like two completely different shoes, and they look even better here with LeBron wearing them. LeBron wearing a pair. I think they're meant to be coming out on February 11th on Sneakers, says here, and February 20th global release courtesy of Over and Under. Thank you Over and Under for the information. But this picture of LeBron James wearing them, you know, as an outfit ahead of a Lakers game, and he put the red laces in them to give them a real kind of hiking look. I'm sure the red laces come with the shoe, the red and white laces. They look infinitely better as a low than a boot. It's actually wild, and I'm a big, you know how much of a big fan I am when it comes to boots, but I think this particular shoe looks like 10 times better in a low than it does as a boot. I'll still get the boot, don't get me wrong, but the low looks so fucking good. Like, especially in this material, this kind of new bucky material that's gonna wear in really well, gonna get beat up very well. And maybe it makes it easier to wear, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this boot is kind of harder to wear because it's just a boot shape. Because unless you're wearing them with shorts or something, it's kind of hard to make these work. Maybe with baggy cargos, but you don't want to be always in baggy cargos. And just wearing them regularly in jeans. I think LeBron has sold these, man. I think LeBron single-handedly, weirdly enough, LeBron's not always known as like a style guy, but I think LeBron has definitely done a good job in terms of selling these shoes. Because these look really, really fucking cool in this particular street style pic that he's got wearing them. Here's another picture as well, I'll show you here. More images of them dropping on February 20th. This is the colorway is taupe. You got this really great kind of hiking D-ring kind of laces as well, perforation here on the top, perforation towards the heel counter, which I'm assuming will help with some of the, again, air inside so it won't get too super stuffy. I love the really chunky midsole with the exposed air bubble, maybe not as big as air bubble as light, but still I really like the appeal of it. You've got, again, taupe nubuck appeal on the top, nice chunky hiking inspired laces. Nice, again, simple color block, brown on the upper, all black on the outsole, on the midsole and the outsole. You can't really go wrong with those. You've got some more official images here courtesy of Nike of the actual taupe model itself, and I think they come with 2 different types of laces too. Oh, look at the underside as well. I love the ACG logo here. I love the little ACG logo. I don't know what that says here too, but I love the red ACG logo and the speckled sole too. That's a pretty nice touch. The black with the white speckled sole on the outsole too is a really nice touch as well. And again, the embossed badge on the back and all the perforations there on the top as well. And obviously we've got another picture from another user too called Trayvon. Big up him. I think he did a good job too of selling these. He posted a picture of himself wearing a pair with the different laces as well. These look like a mixture of like red and green, or black and green, black and red, sorry. And with some baggy jeans. And they look infinitely cool there too. So LeBron did a good job in terms of selling these shoes and making these shoes look incredible with that fit. He's got like double knee pants there, right? Kind of double, yeah. They look like LV double knee pants. It's a very expensive outfit, by the way. He's got these LV double knee pants. It makes them look great. And then this particular gentleman has them with some baggy jeans. So they look great with just baggy jeans over the top, kind of without cuffed. And they also look great with baggy jeans turned up as well. So kind of showing you both ways you can wear these particular Nike GOADOME shoes. Look fucking crazy. I really do like these, man. They fucking killed them. Nike did a good job. And again, it's just interesting because I've been a big fan of the boots of themselves, but as a low, they actually work better as a low. I'm not gonna lie. As much as a fan I am of the boots, I think they work 10 times better as a low. I think they work 10 times better as a fucking low. Like, such a good shoe. See them with the jeans there in all black. They're meant to be coming out soon. All black leather. All black leather. The taupe. Oh, I don't know what colorway is better. I don't know what colorway is better. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind an all black, this taupe version with a white midsole. Kind of similar to the Tom Sachs Mars Yard. I wonder what that would look like. But they look really fucking good there. Really fucking good. And of course, that's the boot version that you all know and love. And that's another version as well with the pony hair boot. And I think that's the original that they kind of flipped in these type of boot style. But yeah, really nice shoe, man. Nike GOADOME. So Nike GOADOME shoe. I would say GOADOME or GOADOME shoe. They're meant to be dropping in February, if I'm not mistaken. As per Over and Under, they're meant to be dropping in February. Sneakers up on the 11th, and then global on the 20th. Nike's rugged boot-inspired silhouette coast of high piece, Nike GOADOME lower surface and taupe colorway, blending urban utility with clean outdoor palette. The upper boasts a premium water resistant leather, arriving in a soft taupe hue. A mini swoosh and debossing can be spotted along the heel, while the black touches provide a sharp contrast. Last but not least, the discreet pop of university red is hidden on the bottom of the sole. Yeah, really nice shoe. Again, all red laces will probably look pretty decent. I think he's got the speckled ones, right? And I think LeBron's got the red laces on there. I probably got all red. All red might be kind of hard. I can't like the all red, or not even the speckle, just all red completely will look kind of hard, especially with double knee pants. I think he did a good job with those. Dropping very soon. Check those out if you're that way inclined. Check those out if you're that way inclined. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 1001. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company. If it's your first time checking out the show live, please like the stream. Leave me a 5-star review. All that good should be greatly appreciated. I'm going to play my song of the day. For those of you who watch the show live, you'll be able to hear the song of the day on Kick and on Twitter only. The song of the day won't play on YouTube because it's going to block the video and make it weird for me to kind of, you know, make it viewable and shit. So if you want to listen to the song of the day, that'll be playing on the Kick stream and on Twitter live if you want to see that. And also on the audio, you'll be able to hear it on the audio, but you won't be able to hear it on the YouTube, unfortunately. But thanks so much for tuning in. Random show will be starting in about 45 minutes for those of you that care. Random show will be starting in about 45 minutes. Everybody else, I appreciate you. Love as always. Smash the like button. Leave me a 5-star review. Agostinho Zinga Show. Love, 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 love. Those of you who want to stay and listen to the song of the day, my song of the day is going to be by the one and only Trash Boat. Trash Boat, even if I never get there, will be my song of the day. Even if I never get there, will be my song of the day, courtesy of Trash Boat. Thank you for tuning in. Pleasure to have your company, YouTube audience. And if you want to listen to this, switch over to Kick, switch over to Twitter, and you'll be listening to it live. Everybody else, take care. Peace.